like you said, a Copa America to look forward to.
Copa America, baby. Yeah, Mexico have qualified thanks to that controversial win against Honduras. We did talk about that already. But they also talked about how, they're gonna be like a seeded team, but it's kind of been going back and forth. So now I'm confused. Like,
Yeah, because I mean, it would seem unfair if all the seeded teams were just from CONMEBOL. You would want at least half and half. And US as host, I'm guessing they would get seeded. But were they weren't even guaranteed a spot, right? They also had to do the playoffs.
what's that?
The US, because they're hosting it, but I think they still had to do their playoff game.
Oh yeah, they still had to qualify even though they're hosting, which is crazy. But from what I've seen, it was Argentina, Brazil, United States, and Mexico are like the quote unquote seeded teams. And then in the pot B, Chile, Venezuela, Panama, Paraguay. Pot C, Uruguay, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru. And then pot D, Jamaica, Bolivia. And then the winner of the the playoffs. So Canada, Trinidad, Tobago, Honduras, Costa Rica. So, but I heard something today, like maybe because of the FIFA rankings, like Mexico might be out as a seeded team, and that'll be interesting.
What the hell does the FIFA rankings have to do with it?
I
It shouldn't. It should. It's like a separate tournament. It shouldn't even
Yeah, I'm not sure.
unless they're using that. You know, unless they're using that as criteria. But I mean, that's the whole thing when you have you're hosting the cup over here. Well, I would assume at least the U.S. as host would be seated.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope, right? You get like a softball group, an accessible group where you can get out of. But then again, it is a CONMEBOL tournament, so they're gonna.
Yeah, so I don't remember if like in the past, if you won, if you were seated, like if you were the defending champion, so then you know what I mean? So the host and then the champion,
Yeah, I'm not
and
sure.
then uh, and then I guess that's why they would use the rankings. So who who booted Mex?
No, I'm not sure. I mean, this is just like a rumor I saw today, but nothing's official just yet. I would say, the tournament's still far, far away, and we still don't know everybody that's going to be in it. But it's just something to be mindful of. Obviously, Mexico needs to do everything in their power to, continue up in the rankings. I think if they want to be considered like a seeded team for the Copa America. What I will tell you is like it's in no one's interest to see Mexico in a group of like again with USA, right? Like they're gonna want to keep those guys separate for the time being.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Jaime. You know,
Yeah, we still have to await the FIFA rankings for this month, but as of October of this year, Argentina's number one, France, Brazil, England, Belgium, Portugal, Netherlands, Spain, Italy, Croatia, and then USA in 11th, and then the Mexico in 12th. So those are the top 12 there. Shocking to see teams like Morocco
wait, where was Mex? US 11, and then where is Mex?
12, but that might change
Oh,
next
just
month.
behind.
Yeah, we have
Wait,
like
so you think Mex will drop or Mex will go up?
I think they might drop, dude.
Even with that mess with the to beat Germany,
No, they
I
didn't.
can't remember.
Germany
It's
is
a
in
tie,
six.
right?
Germany's in 16th place, which is crazy. Colombia 17th, Japan 18th, which I think is under. I think Japan should be higher on that list. Honestly,
Damn, Germany they dropped hard, dude.
yeah, it's bad.
I don't think I've ever seen them. Everyone's like, "What are you doing over here?" It's like they were the nice neighborhood that became a slum. It's like it's the opposite of gentrification there. Yeah.
I'm asking Google what's Germany's worst ranking, and Germany's worst ranking was 22nd in March of 20. March of 2006.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's
I don't
crazy.
remember that at all. 2006 must have been before the World Cup
It said
because
a
they didn't do
series.
because they didn't do World Cup qualifiers, and I think that
It
would
said
probably
Germany finished bottom of their group at the 2000 European Championship, and they were
yeah
eliminated in the group stage of the 2002 World Cup. And then obviously
yeah and
not having to
yeah.
qualify for their own tournament. That's probably why.
Oh, damn, 22nd. I completely forgot. You always they're always top 10, you know. But see, it goes to show, um, like with Mex, you know, something we talked about how Mex has pretty much maintains themselves at around the 15th position, and just shows how difficult it can be to to be that consistent.
All right, let's play a game. I'm also bring in Abdias if he's ready to speak. I want to play a game. What do you think Mexico's worst ranking has been since they did the FIFA rankings and Coca Cola?
Wait, when did that start? I need the year.
Let me find out for you.
So like in the 90s.
Evening. I am gonna go in with 20th.
Okay, so the FIFA World Ranking System was officially introduced December of 1992. So since 1992,
Okay, so
what do you think Mexico's worst ranking has been?
most likely after 90, so around 91, I would say they were probably ranked around 50th. I'm gonna go around that.
50th. Wow. What about you, Abdias?
But there's 200. There's like 200 something, and then they had like a 2 year ban, I believe.
I
Um,
know
it was
within recent memory, at least 2023 was there. If I remember from being a kid, I think like 32 is as low as we've gotten.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 32.
yeah,
Okay.
because they're always around 20th and like 15. Like they'll drop to
Yeah,
like 22nd or whatever, and then after a good tournament, they jump right back up. And
and like
usually after the
that's
World Cup, they go to like 13th. I've seen them up to, you
Okay.
know,
So their lowest ranking was in 2015. And it,
wait, 2015.
yes, 2015.
I know my math. Oh, it is FIFA.
a
So
cuanto.
40th is their worst ranking.
Damn.
2015, dude. That's still something doesn't add up. The Ojitos Mesa was just horrible, man. But I think it's like carryover uh, from
Okay.
previous tournaments.
So here's
That
what I'll
doesn't make
say.
sense. You
On the flip side, what has been their highest ranking?
Oh, I already
what's been
know
what
this.
Because
like
40th,
6? Wait, what?
the highest ranking.
Yeah, like 6, right? Jaime knows it for sure.
Oh, it's more than that. Are you guys are gonna guess? So what was your guess? 6?
Güey, yo estoy preguntando, ¿qué pedo? Like,
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
guys were. I was
I
waiting
missed
for.
somewhere else.
I was waiting for Joel to say. So Mexico's highest ranking was fourth, and it was achieved on
No, I said 6.
five different occasions. 1998 from February to June, August 2003, April 2004, June 2004, and May to June 2006. We were ranked fourth. Isn't that crazy?
Wait, Jaime, if you, it is, it's quackers. It's quacking quackers. What, what ranking did Mex have in 91?
I can check right now. Well, actually, we don't know because
Yes,
the
please.
rankings didn't happen before 1992.
Oh, 92.
Yeah.
So, what was it in 92 then?
Let me find out.
See, that's when I was ranking them the lowest. But
Let's see. Oh man, 15th.
man, see, that doesn't make sense because so
It says their high. All
90,
right, so their highest ranking in 1992 was 15th, which they achieved in April. But their lowest was 17th in January and October.
that's still, so it's okay. Mex doesn't get to go to the World Cup, and they
It
didn't do
said
World Cup qualifying.
it said they
So,
won the 1991 Gold Cup and qualified for the 1994 World Cup, and that's what helped them get
but
that ranking.
they would have qualified in 93, no?
I don't know. That's what it says.
The, the 91 Gold Cup, I know there was a 91. The, I thought the US won it. And then they lose, La Puente was the
Oh,
coach.
sorry. So I do.
And then,
Hold on. So this is inaccurate. This is inaccurate.
y eso que me estoy poniendo pedo, güey.
Sorry, I was
All right,
using I was using
with this,
AI. I was
with this
using AI.
multiverse, with your multiverse respect. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1991 USA won.
Yeah, see, dude, I think was it? I don't know who the. I don't think it was Bora, because Bora ends up taking them the U.S. to 94, but I don't know when he arrived. I don't remember. Um, but I do remember La Puente was the coach. He was coming off of the Puebla, um, and he loses, then he loses the job.
Yeah.
But
So realistically, looking at Copa America next year, like, do you think Mexico will go to past the group stage?
yeah, they should. I mean, but also let's see what stage they're, what group they're in, and then also let's see who, what squads these teams bring. Like sometimes they'll bring their best team. Sometimes they'll bring a mix of their A and B team. Because they wanna use the tournament to test out some of these other players. So,
Yeah.
look,
Hopefully.
here's my
so
question:
that
Go ahead.
if we don't make it out of the group stage, are we gonna have another Chicken Little moment like we did a couple days ago?
yes, oh yes,
Absolutely.
worse, biggest meltdown.
Wait, pero
Yeah,
por qué?
burn it to the
Like,
ground.
Well,
it's not even ours. Like, even if we win it,
here's the
¿qué chingas
criticism.
ganamos?
Here's the criticism. We don't have World Cup qualifiers to worry about. So this is the only competitive tournament that we're going to be
But
competing
but
in.
but Jaime, that is true. But underlining is that Mex is not at this level where we can expect them to just bitch slap teams like Ecuador and Colombia,
Oh,
teams that teams that when they're on point, they're very difficult teams. So to kind of expect
when we're
to
on point, we're
make
a very difficult team.
Yeah,
yes,
but
but
we
we're
haven't
not.
been on point in
Yeah,
like
yes,
fucking 6 years.
exactly. Yeah, it's been a cool minute since Mike's been that
Like,
team.
wait, la última vez que me la jalé mientras que estaba viendo un partido del Tri fue
Yes,
cuando primero
I'm very
entró
visual.
Tata. Like, that was the last time, right? And granted, it was a great nut, pero like, no
Look,
mames, güey, fue hace un chingos.
Yeah,
we can.
Taylor
All right,
Ganso.
let's look at it. We can beat Peru. We can beat Bolivia. We can beat Chile. We can beat Paraguay.
But it could beat any team, honestly, man.
No,
We
It
can
could
beat
beat any
Chile.
team
I'm
Are
on
you
just
any
serious?
saying.
given
Espérate,
Sunday.
güey, no mames, no mames. ¿Vas a decir esa mamada de we can beat
Chile
Chile?
is in eighth position right now. These are the bottom
Still,
feeders
man.
of Comebol
All
right
right.
now. Peru's number
Okay.
10.
But see, they're playing other
And
CONMEBOL
where's
teams. You know what I mean?
Mexico?
Right. So
The-
I would say Mexico would probably be in between Brazil and Paraguay because Brazil's in six right now.
Jaime, I bet if you threw Chile into CONCACAF, they would be doing much better than what they're doing at
I
CONMEBOL.
don't think this is the same Chile that you guys thought about.
It's not, but they're playing in CONMEBOL. If they were playing in CONCACAF,
This ain't
I
2016,
bet they would.
2017 Chile. This is a new
No,
era.
it's no, it's not. But again,
I think the team
we're
that
viewing them
will
against.
like I'm just going off of Comebol qualifiers. Argentina's the number one. Obviously, they're the boogeyman. Uruguay always a challenge. Colombia, yeah, they're doing well. And in our last friendly, we obviously didn't do that.
Wait. But Uruguay, not just always a challenge. They have a really good head coach.
Yep, Biesla.
So when you have an Uruguay team with a quality coach, and you were telling us the other day how Uruguay under Bielsa they already defeated Argentina and Brazil, which they hadn't been able to do in a cool minute.
Hmm. We're gonna have the opportunity to play Colombia next month in December. So we'll see how we stack up against them. It is not a FIFA window, so we probably won't see the best version of Colombia, but still, Venezuela's in fourth, so that's a team that I would be like, oh, we got this. Normally,
Oh,
in normal situations, be like Venezuela
we're,
stick to
we're
baseball,
struggling against Honduras. You want
but Venezuela's
Jaime,
in fourth, and then Ecuador, who I think we've always had favorable results against
no, yeah,
Ecuador. They're in
yeah,
fifth.
but they're,
They're above Brazil right now, so it's anyone's game.
Jaime, hay niveles though, man. Conmebol is a different beast.
I get it.
Some of these, so some of these teams in CONCACAF will be doing way better than they're doing in CONMEBOL. Um, that's been one of the criticisms. And even though I pointed out, I mean, I'm not trying to take merit or credit away, but CONMEBOL has long been regarded as it's basically the most difficult region to qualify to the World Cup from.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because like in Europe, you do have all these big teams, but they're divided into groups. Right here is
And
just one giant group.
they have like 16 slots. I mean, they have a lot of slots, for the
Yeah,
World Cup.
yeah. You go end up with a San Marino and Iceland and teams like that in in Europe. In CONMEBOL, it's just those teams, and a lot of them are very evenly matched. Outside of Argentina and Brazil,
Yep.
a bulk of them are pretty evenly matched. And then you do have some like Bolivia with the altitude. It's hard to go and play up there.
Yeah. We'll see. What hopefully by then Santi will have his shooting boots on because he is not having a good time. I know he had a hat trick over the weekend in Dutch League, good for him. Then today in Champions League, he scores an own goal and seals the fate of Feyenoord, eliminated from Champions League.
I thought that was a fake because I was seeing that there was like a Riquelme. Is that another Riquelme, Jaime?
Possibly.
Because I saw his name up there and I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, Santi scored an own goal today. Of course, anytime we criticize Santi, Habibi is nowhere to be seen.
Hey,
But
could it be his kid?
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Riquelme, and I mean, I'm guessing Simeone is still at Atletico.
There was a Riquelme playing today.
It was, dude. I saw you guys posted like a scoreboard thing.
I'm not sure, bro.
Here it is, Rodrigo Riquelme. Oh no, he's not Argentine. Sorry, my bad. It's just that it's not a common name, you know.
No, it's not.
Okay, never mind. So that's why I thought it was like I didn't know if it was mame or real. I thought like fuck Riquelme. What the hell?
Focus, man. Focus.
Pero
We're talking
mira,
about
güey, no hay
Santi.
pedo.
No
No
hay
hay
pedo?
pedo. Okay, like, metió goles, there was eyes, like, it's all good. You know, he's still scoring hat tricks. Todo lo que tiene que hacer es ganar
Okay,
la
even
liga
own
otra
goal,
vez.
even an own goal, that's still scoring a goal.
¿Ves, güey? Puede meter gol en los dos lados.
Sí,
Como
qué
dicen, es
putazo, güey.
poligol.
No, no discrimina.
Exactamente, de gorditas a flaquitas, no hay pedo.
De que la
Oh,
va a meter,
man.
la va a meter, güey.
Esa es la cosa, like, mira, güey. Mira, esta noche duermo caliente, no hay pedo. Like, no paso frío. Y si está gordita, pues hay más donde agarrar.
I don't know. I feel like when Chicharito was like the guy, he was under a lot more scrutiny than Santi. So I think he deserves all the criticism, all the hate.
¿Cuál? ¿Cuál, güey? Cuando Santi la caga en la selección, todo lo que es pinche pendejo. It's like, no mames, güey. It's like when the Mexican mom is getting after the dog. You feel bad for the dog. You're like, pinche perro, güey. Yeah. I've been there.
Pobre Firulais.
¿Verdad? Like, güey, y yo que soy persona, me trataba peor, pues te chingas, perro.
Yeah, man. He's
So,
like Heiko. What's it called? Heiko and what's that fucking thing? Jaden. I don't know. There's like that one
I don't
person.
know, bro.
It's like
Yo soy
this,
macuarro.
like a bipolar person. Like that's what Santi is, bro. Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes, yes, yes,
Good
yes.
and bad. Oh, man.
Like, like you said before, he's a prospect, right? And as long as he continues scoring goals, like I said, like we said on both ends, like it's
I
not a
don't think
problem,
he's a
¿verdad?
prospect. I don't think he's a prospect. He's
That's
been
just because you're a hater,
pro for a
bro.
while
Like,
and
like
scored.
my pedo. Like, I
What?
get it.
He's
You're an
not.
old head.
No,
Like
no,
the
no.
future is now.
I'm giving him credit.
I think
I
he's
wouldn't
too.
put him as a prospect.
He's too
He's
grown.
already
He's too grown to be considered a prospect now, dude.
He's too
yeah.
grown. What the fuck do you mean?
I mean, he's not.
Prospect
He's
is
too
like
Prospects
grown.
when you're.
prospect is
No, it's like when you're a
he's
He's like
gonna break
what,
into the
teenager.
first team.
21,
Yeah,
22?
No, prospect is when
yeah,
you're a teenager, unproven, but he's already proven. He's
yes,
already won a title with Cruz Azul.
yes,
he's not a young boy anymore. Is what we're trying to say.
yeah. He's to me
Güey,
he's
no,
already
espérate, güey, espérate. Venimos de una liga donde a prospect is like
26.
fucking 26. No mames, güey.
yeah, but doesn't yeah, but
Y
not
espérate, güey, todavía se la estamos mamando de que no, que se tiene que ir a Europa y que quién sabe qué. Güey, ya estás formado, ya estás hecho y derecho, no vas a irte a Europa como un pinche anciano. Te vas a ir a Europa como un chavo, como un prospecto de Santi que tiene 20, 21, puta madre, yo diría 23 a lo más viejo que lo que llegas a Europa, ¿verdad? No mames,
It's
también.
so a prospect is a young player who is considered to have the
yes, yeah,
potential to
yes,
develop into a professional player.
yeah.
Mira, Mr. Wikipedia, me la
Está
pelas y me la
hecho,
mamas.
Prospects are typically developed in a youth academy, right? So that's what we're talking about when we talk about prospects, like young
yeah.
lads.
I think I know what you're trying to say, though, Abdias. I
We
think
get
for
it,
the
we get it, we get it.
at least
Like
in terms of the national team,
Habibi's
he's seen as
fapping over Endrick, right? He's like a 16-year-old prospect.
but no, but I mean, when talking about Santi, I think prospect at least in seen as being someone that's gonna be one of the main players for the national team, which he's lining up to be because he's already he had the goal at the Gold Cup, and then he participated in the whole Honduras. So little by little, he's
Earning his spot.
yes, earning it and making his claim. Because for all the criticism he gets, he's still putting in work. And it gets to the point where then not even the haters can deny like his importance or what he's done for the national team. So I
What
just
has he
think
done
that's
for the? He hasn't done shit except score a fucking tap in. That's
what
it.
in the
Oh,
Gold Cup. Wait,
except
the Gold
bring
Cup
us a
final?
fucking
No,
trophy.
behind me,
Wait,
weren't we there? Weren't we?
Bro.
espérate, güey. Te estabas cagando por la posibilidad de no llegar a la Copa América, cual, por cierto, ni
Yeah,
era una pinche posibilidad, güey. Nos íbamos a ir al repechaje contra la super pinche potencia de Trinidad y Tobago. No mames, güey. ¿Cómo es que no íbamos a entrar a la Copa América? Like, me temblaba. O
Santi,
sea,
all
cabrón, no
right.
mames. Pero espérate también, güey. Espérate, pero hasta antes de eso, antes de que nos diera el trofeo, ¿cómo andábamos de que no, si se pierde la Copa Oro, que no, que quién
yeah.
sabe qué? Y la ganó, y qué tan fácil dices, no, pues no vale verga. ¿Verdad? Entonces, ¿qué chingados quieres?
I saw that goal live, bro. He hit it wrong. He got so lucky
He,
that went in.
he
It
still
hit.
¿Qué, güey?
scored
¿Se
it.
metió?
No
¿Cómo se
lo
llama el
metió,
Hey,
fucking?
look,
Jose.
I'm glad he scored the game-winning goal, the trophy lifting goal. But you cannot admit that this dude in that tournament was the guy. He was not the guy.
Güey, no me importa. You
Es-
know who was the
en
guy?
mes
You know who
entró
was the
Chucky.
guy in that whole fucking tournament?
Antuna.
It was one or two, yeah. Antuna o Orbelún. Entre esos dos were the guy. Pero ¿sabes qué? Vale verga. ¿Quién metió los goles? ¿Quién metió el gol que importó?
Dude, he didn't even start that game.
Ay, no, porque los tenían que cansar, güey. ¿No te acuerdas? Por eso
Yeah.
metieron al mamado.
Like one step at a time, I understand he's still a young lad. It's just frustrating to see him score a hat trick over the weekend and then not do shit for the national team. It's like, why even care, if he's not gonna do it when it matters most? And right now he hasn't done it. We'll see. We'll see what
We
happens with this
will.
kid.
Like I said, bro, like, welcome to the club. Like, it's okay. It's going to take some time. Just hold the fuck on. ¿Verdad? Todavía se la estás mamando
He,
acá, pinche
he's
charito. Like, se va a tardar, güey.
he's stacking up his things though, man. He's gonna get there eventually where
He is. He's
he's
going to
gonna
get
have
his
more good.
$100,000 contract.
He's gonna have more good than bad moments with no, I'm saying with the national team.
Let's
I
hope
think in
so.
Europe, I think it's pretty clear to see that he's gonna have a good career in Europe, and just I think having his dad there plays a big role of like his professionalism and what to expect. We saw this what was it? It was like a tweet, Jaime, with a Gio, one of the coaches for Tottenham, how Gio will show up to training drunk,
Oh yeah.
and
No,
he said how
hungover. The words were hungover.
okay, hungover. I said corrected me, yes, you're correct.
No,
Hungover.
güey, pues, as someone with a drinking problem, there's a clear difference between drunk and
Uh,
hungover.
oh yes, well, hungover. I agree. And he even said how the I guess it was the dad. He said the family, but I'm guessing it's the dad went to apologize. And I'm like, damn, that's when it's kind of like telling why Gio's career, because his talent is undeniable, and he could have gone on to have a way better career than he did. And it's kind of, we start seeing these things, and it kind of becomes obvious why he didn't achieve more as a player.
Makes me wonder if like Barcelona were okay with letting him go.
Well, from what I remember was that his dad played a role in that. So he was one of the main players from the La Masia, and he was right up there with Messi. And they were taking them both, like when they were like kind of like debuting them and all that. And And then I think, eventually they just promoted Messi, and this guy they were gonna loan him
Are they around the
to
same
a
age?
second division team. Yeah, I believe they are.
Hmm.
But I remember that he didn't want to be loaned. Like he wanted to, and I think I remember because yeah, man, we're going pretty back. We're going pretty far back, man. Um, but I think it was his dad who was pushing for him to to be a first team player because he felt he was like the big star. And I think Barca what they wanted to do was like loan him out for a season or two and then bring him back. And he ends up going to Tottenham because of the one Spanish coach that had taken over the team, and he promised him he would get him the playing time.
Mm,
But yeah, it seemed like the dad was like he played like a role in sort of like deciding what these guys did, and I think
I see.
seems like he made quite a few mistakes there.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all knew about his off the field antics. You know, he's a young kid. He likes to party. He's like Ronaldinho, and unfortunately, he just didn't know how to manage fame and professionalism. You know, Ricardo joining
Yes,
us tonight. Welcome,
I'm
Ricardo.
Peachy. Yes, welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. We were just talking shit about Santi Jimenez. You know, scoring the own goal today, eliminating Feyenoord from the Champions League.
This guy is such a goal scoring machine. He just had to, he in his mind he was probably like, "Look, Atletico Madrid, I can score just like you guys. Let me help you out."
He was trying out today.
Yeah, pay my transfer fee, and these are the type of goals I score, man.
I'm so loyal that I'm willing to score against my own team just to see you guys, continue your run in champions.
Yeah, I mean the guy just can't stop scoring goals, right? Especially against Panama and like very poor Champions League teams, right?
He scored a hat trick over the weekend and then does this. So he's on fire, man. He's continuing to score goals. Um, we were actually transitioning into the Liga MX action. We're going to be talking about predictions here, and I wanted to go back and see how well we did. So Abdias originally had Santos and San Luis going through, and he was technically right. San Luis beat Leon 3-2 and automatically qualified in the seventh spot. So they're going to be playing Rayados now. Santos beats Mazatlan. So in my prediction, I had Santos and Leon winning. And I'm sorry, I had Mazatlan over Santos and I had Leon over San Luis. So I was wrong. But then with Leon, with the play and the way it's structured, is despite them losing, they had a chance still to qualify for Liguilla. So they played the winner, Santos, and they actually beat them. So Leon will be playing against America. It was one hell of a game. It was 3-2 was the final score, but Santos were very close to tying it at the end. And if you look at this format here. So you had Leon who played on Thursday and Sunday, and now are coming into this game against America. I think like a nicely tuned machine. Whereas America hasn't played a game since November 11th, so almost 3 weeks. How you feeling about that, Ricardo?
I'm feeling very good about this. Well, let me just add one thing to that, Jaime. Santos got robbed in that last play when that last chance they had to score.
Oh, the PK they were fighting for or something, or what was
Those
it?
the one when he kicked that guy in the head, but before he kicked the guy in the head, Preciado,
Mm-hmm.
the guy clearly hit the back of his leg while he was attempting his shot. That was a clear penalty. Those guys got robbed. They should have had the chance to go to extra time. Or I don't know how the that setup was because it's playing right. So is it penalties? I didn't know what
It's a
what
great
was to transpire after that?
It's a great question. I don't know if there would have been overtime or straight to PKs, but yeah, I will say that game was very it was very entertaining from, from a neutral standpoint, but for sure Santos definitely got robbed.
But Leon is easy work, man. They got no defense, and they got that kid, Fidel Ambris. And side note, if Chivas had any money or anyone with brains, I think that guy would fit in perfectly instead of that guy, that crater face you guys have.
Also,
Yeah, I think he would be like the perfect. I wouldn't say rotation guy, but I think he could be like the starter there. But that's wishful thinking because you guys are clearly broke,
yep.
and and the guys in the front office clearly don't have a brain. But besides that, they're also missing that guy that got kicked in the head, the Argentine guy. He's pretty good. So they're gonna be without both those guys in the first leg.
Mhm.
And to add on top of that, after the first leg, those guys are gonna travel to the what was it, the uh I think it was something about the Club World Cup.
Oh yeah, I mean they won the Champions League. So,
Yeah, so they had to do something with that, and then so they'd be jet lagged in some ways. So I got America bouncing these guys out of the first round, out of the quarterfinals, man. Oh, I forgot to, you didn't ask me about my predictions, Jaime.
I don't think you were on that day, but it was just strictly for the play-in. But
Oh,
yeah, now that we
I clearly had Cruz Azul staying at home.
yeah, they weren't even a choice, honestly. But you mentioned the Club World Cup, which kicks off in December 15th for Leon. So it's in everyone's best interest for America to win, right?
Oh, that's what a anti-America person would say. But if you compare both teams, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be, maybe Leon will score a goal or two in the first leg, but they're gonna get handled in the Azteca.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at regular season,
Bro, historically, they handle you. Like, let's
The
get this shit
ooh,
straight.
the final,
So,
right?
what I'm looking forward to is que otra vez the great Mexican tradition of watching America choke in Liguilla.
From home.
Me vale verga. It
Oh,
tastes
okay.
even better, güey. Las papitas saben mejor cuando te veo llorar.
Oh, okay. No,
When I'm
but
looking over, it's like, ay, güey, you actually cared about this one.
you're
Dime,
being
güey, ¿dónde está la 14?
you're being very 18, not 14. But you're you're being
También
very
estamos contando desde el año del queso.
yeah, and even then America has more than Cruz Azul. But regardless,
Sí,
you're
güey. ¿Y
being
cuánto tiempo llevan?
you're being very disingenuous
Espérate,
with
güey,
that
no.
Leon comment.
Let's make these arguments. How many more years has America been around the Cruz Azul?
Are you really want to have this conversation?
No, güey, pues quieres echar pedradas, aquí está.
Oh, let me just end it real quick. Your best player ever of all time is America Canterano. Okay, number two, anytime America plays Cruz Azul, they don't even have to warm up. It's an automatic win. What are you
Well,
talking
every
about?
time, güey. Las golizas que les hemos metido a ustedes también. Pero no, ¿cómo se te olvida, verdad?
What goliza? I
¿Cuál?
remember. I remember the
No
ones that count.
mames, mi señora. Hace 2 años.
2013. Are you talking about the 7-0 that America porked when you guys
¿Y la de
should have
antes?
gotten relegated to the
And the
second
one
division?
before that one? La que
The
les metimos a
2018.
ustedes? Like, no mames, güey. We go back and forth, pero no hay pedo.
No,
¿Verdad?
no hay pedo. America beat you guys in dramatic, beautiful fashion in 2013 and pushed your shit in 2018. So there's no conversation, man. And you guys were
What about when
favorites.
you got your shit pushed in
You guys were
el
favorites
año
in
de COVID?
2018. You guys were favorites going into that final, and you still lost.
He's just mad because Cruz Azul is not competing in Liguilla. He just wants to stay relevant in this conversation.
¿Quién, güey? ¿Yo? A mí me vale verga.
If you see
I'm
around the
just throwing out
Mexican,
the facts. I'm just
what
throwing out the
what
facts that
facts?
León historically te hace comer pipa cada pinche
Look,
vez
look,
que
look,
se ven en
that,
liguilla.
that's what I was meant. That's what I was gonna talk about before you started spreading your Chemo fake news.
¿Cuál chemo fake news? This
Or-
is called history, my dear good sir.
Yeah, you clearly always
Todo
get
acá
pissed
con el
by
pinche
America.
coco wash de que no, que la América es el más grande. No, güey. Les han metido unas putizas
Bro,
y que no se te
in your
olviden.
entire life, you've never seen Cruz Azul over America
¿Cómo
ever,
chingados que no?
ever.
¿Cómo chingados que no? I've seen it multiple times. I've seen it.
Not in
I've
the
seen them go to the
final.
Club World Cup. I've seen it.
In the final, though.
2 times in a final.
Güey, cuando les
And
partimos la
one
madre en
time
liguilla.
in that concrete crap title. What are you talking about, man?
Pero no hay
Look,
pedo, güey.
look,
Ya sé que te duele, ya sé que
no.
te arde,
Out of
¿verdad?
the gate, America's always bumping your guts. What are you talking about, man?
Bro. It's
Like
that
this isn't even an argument.
That's what happens
Look,
when you huff on cement, bro.
on that cement paint, I'm telling you. Look, this is very sad, and I really mean this. The Chemos are so down, like they're so in the gutter right now. The only thing they can possibly hang over America is that they're naturalizado quotation marks canterano is in Europe and America's players are playing in Mexico with America and always showing up. I mean, is that something to brag about? Like your team's in the shit, man.
Pero vendemos, güey. Esa es la cosa. Pero
You literally you're sharing America. You're paying America to borrow the stadium. You got that shitty little stadium on the other side of Mexico City that no one wants to go to because it smells like
sí,
pee.
güey. El que ustedes están rentando. That one.
Rentando from who? They own it. Put the paint can down. It's all right, man.
Te iba a
You've had
decir, güey,
enough.
no creo. No creo que esa sea
You've
verdad.
had enough for
Dame
today.
los facts de esa, porque no.
Uh,
Esa no es verdad. No lo han comprado. Lo están rentando.
From who? Estadio Azteca literally belongs to Televisa.
No Azteca,
AK.
pendejo. El Estadio Azul. Porque el Azteca se va a cerrar.
Who's talking about that dump? No one's talking about that shithole.
El que tienen que usar porque el de ustedes también se está cayendo. No
They're not going to
mames.
use that one. They're going to use the Atlantis Stadium.
Oh, yeah. ¿Y cuál es el de
Thank
Atlante,
goodness.
güey? ¿Cuál es
Huh?
el de Atlante? ¿Cuál es el estadio que está usando Atlante?
It's not that one.
It is. Es el Estadio Azul.
It is that
No,
one.
it's not. Is it?
Yeah.
¡Estás
All right,
pendejo!
well, Chemo got 1 out of 10 right. All right.
Estadio Azul is currently owned by the Cosio family. Cosio? I don't know who that is.
So Cruz Azul doesn't own it then, Jaime. Because it would have said that Corporativa Cruz Azul Cemento
Most
shit,
most
right?
teams don't own
No,
their
'cause they
stadium in
sold it off.
Mexico.
They sold it off because it was supposed to be demolished.
Also,
Like,
they're so broke they couldn't. So
No,
they're
güey,
so broke.
espérate. Before you start with your fan fiction, escucha.
Oh, let me hear
So
the fake news. Go ahead.
Billy Álvarez quería hacer un centro deportivo, ¿verdad? Porque al lado está la Plaza de Toros, ¿verdad? Entonces, cuando él dijo, hey, quiero hacer todo esto, voy a incorporar un estadio nuevo al lado de la Plaza de Toros, todo se va a conectar, va a ser un nuevo centro comercial para la ciudad, para todo esto, le dijeron que no, ¿verdad? Que no podía tocar nada de eso, que no se podía hacer, y también por esas restricciones no se podían hacer actualizaciones a el estadio. Entonces, ahí fue cuando lo tuvieron que vender y se salieron porque según iban a hacer un estadio nuevo. Y ahora estamos rentando o compartiendo, pero rentando el Azteca, el Azul, luego se volvió a revender a los de Atlante y se metió Atlante ahí. Eso fue lo que pasó.
Damn, man. Broke people problems.
Right?
Most
No.
teams
What broke people
don't really
problems? We
own
were
their
going to put
club
the
though.
money. We were
EB,
gonna put the
EBT,
money to do it all.
Y'all,
Puta madre, güey.
EBT,
Nosotros
Cruz
tenemos
Azul.
el pinche cemento, lo hacemos. Like, ahí no hay pedo. ¿Verdad?
If you look at
La
if you
cosa
look
fue
at
que el
all the
municipio
teams,
no nos dejó. Ahora, if you want to start doing that shit, the corruption in Mexico, que dejan que los de Televisa hagan los que se les dé la pinche gana, y acá los de trabajo honesto no lo dejan
why are
hacer.
we talking about Cruz Azul, bro? We're talking about Liguilla right now.
Yeah, you like you.
Porque este cabrón no oye voces en su mente.
We're talking
We
about
established this
León
last
versus
I
episode.
was gonna
America.
mention Leon, and he started mentioning America. Like
No, no, no.
if
I started mentioning it was facts. Que León le mete la pipa a la América en liguilla.
maybe when you're huffing on the paint,
Y luego te dolió.
but the
Y luego te
statistics
dolió.
clearly show
Pull the
America
numbers. Pull the numbers.
13 and 18. I mean, I don't need to pull anything else in that, man.
¿Cuál, güey? No. 13 and 18, me la mama. Nomás dime, güey, ¿cuáles son los números de León contra el América
Well, you
en
the,
liguilla?
the paint won't let me finish. I was
A
gonna
ver,
mention
termina, güey, termínale, dale.
they only met in the final once, and like I was saying before, the paint was getting to you. When America met with Leon in that final, even I predicted Leon. You got to keep in mind the team Leon had then. It's not even close to the crappy team they have now. I don't even have to just to name off a few names: Boselli, Rafa Marquez, the best all Mexican midfield that ever existed in Mexico. Gallito, Montes, and Peña. Even Chivas couldn't get those guys. Just to name a
they
few.
did. They
One.
did get him.
Oh, but not all three of them, so it doesn't count. In their prime either. And in
They
heading
couldn't
into
get
that
him.
heading into the final, America had to send off some of those players to some of their main players to selección. That's not an excuse, but that's the only time they played. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, León won that game 5-1.
Convincingly, but that's not the same
That
Leon
was the
now.
same León that won bicampeonato. So,
Bicampeonato, yes sir.
yeah. No, I think, like I said, going into this match, León have had two games, in less than a week. Now they have this one. So I just think momentum wise, they've been more active. I don't know if America scheduled any friendlies during this like break. So I don't know when's the last time they all play together, but going into this game tomorrow, I think Leon has the advantage.
You could use the momentum argument, but I just don't think that this is. I mean, I've seen both games. These guys, they look very iffy on that defensive end, man.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that you guys have the advantage on is obviously you need a draw to go to the next round. So you don't even have to beat Leon.
That's the advantage of being the super leader and not crapping out of the league like Cruz Azul.
Good stuff. Meanwhile, San Luis and Monterrey tomorrow. I mean, do we even have to say who was going to be the favorite in that one?
I'm calling it now, San Luis for the upset.
I was gonna say, watch out, San Luis got hands.
Their style isn't pretty, but it's effective. I think they. If I had a gun to my head, I'd pick Monterrey, but I, I'll go with my gut. I'll think San Luis will pull it off, man.
Oh man, Rayados have been disappointing in Liguilla. They've and they have the traitor. They have the coach who bounced out a year ago. So
The one that quit.
yeah, and the secret weapon for San Luis is Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm sorry, Jurgen Damm. Watch out.
When they're both on the when either or is on the field, you can't tell the difference, man.
That speed. Yeah. I like it. I like the upset. Puebla Tigres. Does the Super Camote power enough for to beat Tigres, or is Tigres the favorites in this one?
Wait, Tigres is always the favorite. Let's start off there, right? Like, let's put respect where respect is due, and Tigres will pull it out. And los camotes son buenos, güey, pero no mames. Los Tigres son los más poderosos. Todos sabemos que la final, si va como creemos, debería de haber sido inicialmente América Tigres, pero ahora va a ser León Tigres. Porque pues ya sabemos, ¿verdad? Equipo chico, cosas pasan. Pero espérate, güey, no vamos a dejar que Javi hable porque pues también, güey, si vamos a ser justos y honestos, porque chingados no.
Oh, you need backup, huh?
No, güey, nomás que estemos todos aquí.
Let me see if Habibi wants to speak.
Yo tengo más que suficiente para todos, güey, no hay pedo. ¿Verdad? Ya sé que tú haces tu pinche fanfiction y ahí estás. Los compas que tienes en la mente te hablan. Y te dicen, no, sí, güey, no. Pues tú sabes.
Well, they're telling me you're huffing on paint right now, man.
Real quick,
No, güey, se dice mota.
in the YouTube chat, Franklin Cap says, "Salud, always enjoy the show." And yeah, starting to see Jimenez looking real sus. Keep him on the bench till he can show that he can be consistent. Thanks
Y,
for
y poner a quién, güey.
Well, I love he just said that because do you guys remember the narrative being pushed by these wacky chemos and crazy because if you look around, there's a bunch of Chivas fans that are Bebote apologists. They for some crazy reason they're justifying everything he does. I can't explain it. I can't understand it. But if you guys go look for it, it's happening in the media and the fans do it. But leading into the World Cup, I mean after the World Cup, what was the narrative with this guy? That he should be starting, right?
that it was unfair that he didn't go to begin with.
No, but after the World Cup.
And yeah, no, everyone's been.
After World Cup, it was we had a cripple there. Why the fuck didn't we take Santi?
No, no,
Seeing how no, espérate, güey, cállate el pincho hocico.
no,
After
no, no,
that,
no, no. Don't spread your
fue
fake news. Answer my question. If you're not huffing on, if you prove to me you're not a paint huffer like I know you are, was it was the narrative not that this guy should be starting instead of these other guys because he's playing in Europe? Yes or no?
cuando después.
Yes, especially during the Gold Cup. Was that not the narrative?
Ah, como chingados que no. During the World Cup, güey, el mame estaba al 100%.
No, afterwards.
También.
So that was the narrative, right? He should be automatic starter just because he's in Europe, right?
Not because he was in Europe, it was because he was in Europe scoring goals. He was the leading scorer of the
In the
Europa League.
fisherman in the fisherman's
No, 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 no,
league
no, güey.
in the
En la
deadliest catch
Europa
league,
League.
right?
En
In
la
the fisherman's
Europa
league.
League. No,
All
no,
right,
no. No, no, lo que estaba
against
haciendo
shit
en
teams,
Feyenoord era segundo. Era segundo ninguno, ¿verdad? Pues no hay
against
pedo.
scoring hat tricks against
¿Verdad?
Hercules and Super Excelsior and teams like
Güey,
that.
que no
Okay,
escuchas.
okay, but
No, scoring goals against like Man U and those other second tier teams that are in the Europa League.
that was the narrative, right? And
Que
what
le están
happened?
metiendo goles a los equipos a que se la mamas? Yes.
All right, if you say so, that paint's getting to you again.
No, güey, pues what's
So
the Europa League? Dime.
no, come on, stay on subject.
No, güey, te estoy preguntando.
No, well, you're trying to ignore my point because you know I'm gonna be right.
I'm trying to give you arguments. I'm trying to like boost and bolster your argument de que estaba metiendo goles el Mamera, sí, de que debería ser el
Oh,
starter porque
let
está
me.
metiendo goles en
Uh huh.
Europa en la Europa League
And all right, let me.
contra los clubes más grandes.
No, not
Ahora,
let,
lo que
no,
espérate,
no, no, not
cabrón.
más
Ahora,
grandes.
lo que estaba
No, well,
haciendo
let me finish. Let me finish real quick, and I'll let you go.
en la era de bici, no hay pedo, ¿verdad? Pero que estaba metiendo goles en la Europa League, eso sí te lo doy.
Okay, what? All right, that's good. Like believe your Chemo conspiracy theories are. It's all good. When he stopped scoring goals and I don't need to bring up the obvious examples because you know which ones they are. And
No,
he
güey, no sé,
started
pero dime.
and he started those games too. So you guys were bitching about this guy not starting, and the moment he didn't show up and produce, it's everyone else's fault. Was
Oh, it's like he doesn't have the same amount of talent surrounding him in Mexico than he does with Feyenoord.
bingo. That was the narrative. He should be starting because. So if you're gonna use that argument that he should be an automatic starter, you better show automatic results. And he didn't do it, and everyone's making excuses now for him. That's the part I don't get.
So, okay, dime. How many games did he start during that time?
He got the start, didn't he? He got his chance and he didn't do it, right?
Dime cuántos,
And,
how
and
many
now
games?
people are giving him credit for scoring a penalty, even though he missed like two already with Mexico.
Señor,
So it evens out, I
señor,
guess.
all I'm asking for is a simple number. How many games did he start?
Three.
Three. Dame los tres juegos. ¿Cuáles fueron?
Qatar, Germany, and Honduras.
Güey, se te olvida Surinam con Coca.
Oh, he missed that penalty, right?
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay. So you're proving my point. You
No,
guys
güey,
are
I'm
making.
proving que se te olvida un chingos de cosas y no sabes verga, pero nada más aquí estás hablando.
Oh, okay. So
¿Verdad?
this is exactly what I'm talking about. The crazy narrative these guys spin just because their guy isn't because supposedly it's Televisa's fault that he's not scoring goals now. I guess.
Yes. Yes, I do remember that one. I did throw that one out there myself.
Why
Pero
why
okay.
don't you
¿Me
why
la
don't you
puedes
guys
repetir, güey? Pero
look
pues
look
fumo un chingo de mota,
look
¿verdad? Se me olvidan las cosas. Dímelo
look
otra vez.
from the very beginning? Everyone was saying this Mexico team, it doesn't produce chances for the striker. But the Chamo, the crazy can paint sniffers like you and the Chiva apologist fans for Santi Jimenez insisted on this guy starting and starting. That was the narrative, right? You even made up nicknames for Jimenez and Henry. Everyone was saying that the team wasn't producing opportunities for the strikers. But now, since this guy isn't showing up, now it's everyone else's fault, like everyone said before, and no one says it anymore. That's what you guys are very inconsistent with your arguments.
We
I know it's banter, but you guys are very hypocritical in that way.
we have Al
Okay.
Pastor joining us, the number one Santi fan. Maybe he can speak to that.
No, no, mira, espérate. Ahorita entras, mi gallo, ahorita entras, no, no hay pedo. Pero mira, güey, ahora, ¿qué pedo pasó con Quiñones? ¿Verdad? No, Quiñones va a ser la mera verga. Pero ¿qué pasa cuando no le das un buen balón al delantero?
I'm sorry, but I don't think Quinones has even gotten a start yet.
It wasn't a start, but when he was in there, when he was doing those things, hasta él y
Santi
Santi,
has
los
gotten
dos
the
estaban
start plenty
juntos.
of times now. I think
Yeah,
Pero
but
fue el mismo
Following
juego pasado.
Ricardo's argument.
2 points to that.
Ricardo's argument is that you have to make an impact right away.
Wait,
So
2 points to that. See, here comes the fake news brigade. Paint sniffer and ravioli. Here comes the fake news brigade. Look, 2 points to that. Firstly, no one ever, if anything, everyone in the media and the wacky Mexico fans like Habibi and Mr. Chemo here were saying we're implying that America fans were saying he's the savior. He's gonna take us. No one ever said that. Even Ravioli tried to push that narrative in the last podcast. You can't show me evidence of an America fan or anyone saying that this guy's the savior. So that's just another fake news narrative you guys are peddling. And number two, when Quiñones got to play in this last game against Honduras, they put him in as in the midfield. So if you're gonna if you're gonna spread fake news, at least be don't just ramble off with your crazy Chemo conspiracy theories, man.
in the midfield, my guy, he had a goal scoring opportunity within like the first 30 seconds playing as a striker in the game. And like it
Are
barely
you sure about
missed.
that?
And barely missed.
Against Honduras, you sure about that? They put him in as a striker.
bro. He was free roaming that whole area
Oh,
to
okay,
play
okay,
as he
okay.
wanted, and
But
he
you
was
said as a
mainly up
striker though.
front. He was
Okay, but you
mainly up
said as a
front.
striker. You
He was
said as a
free roaming
striker.
the area, winger,
Okay, but that's not
striker,
the same as
midfield.
being a striker,
You have
man.
the total
You,
freedom. That's even better. You have the total
oh, okay.
freedom to
Oh,
do whatever you
you
want.
see what I mean? These guys are crazy. First you said he's a striker, and now
Yes,
you
he
say
was in a striker role in
but
that
he
play.
roll exactly just like center backs get just like your team when they put Boyo Briseño as in the striker role, right? It's not the same thing,
He
or is
was in
it?
a striker role. He
Oh,
had a
okay.
chance and barely
Oh,
missed.
so when Boyo Briseño misses the chances he gets, you're criticizing him as a striker or as a center back?
At that moment, if he's playing a striker,
Oh,
one, I'm
okay.
gonna criticize the coach first for putting a center back as a striker. But two, if he's playing as a striker, there's a reason they put him up there, and if he misses the chances, then
Oh,
you
okay.
criticize him.
Oh, this is some
Fuck.
crazy talk. This is just
What's the crazy
unbelievable.
talk, man? If the guy's playing up front, it's for a reason.
Oh
Whether
man.
it's whether because the coach is a lunatic or the guy has shown something on
They
practice. But
they
at
they
the end
must
of the day, you're
they
a
must have had a
professional.
discount.
At
I
the
mean,
end of
did
the
you
day,
not
you're a
watch the
professional,
game?
man.
Yeah, I did. They must
At
have
the
had
end of the day, you're a
and
professional. If you're
you
up there,
guys
got to put them away.
you guys must have had
¿Sabes qué?
that Black Friday that paint special in St. Louis and in on wherever Chemo's from.
Oh my
'Cause there's
god.
some crazy talk you guys are talking. Like people are listening to this, and you guys sound crazy right now.
Mira,
Bro,
güey,
that's
You're,
todo lo que.
you.
Mira,
You're
I'm just gonna ask a
spreading
celebrity.
simple
lies.
question. Mira, I'm just gonna ask a simple question. When you watch a fucking soccer game, do you are you just ball watching or are you watching formation?
So what are you talking about? Ball watching? What does that mean?
Nomás estás mirando a los pendejos, estás estudiando el juego.
Well, that's what you guys. Well, that's what you did because you said
No,
he
güey,
came in as
nomás te
a
estoy.
striker,
Güey, te
and he
estoy preguntando
clearly
una
didn't come in
pregunta
as a striker.
fácil. Like, it's a
Per,
simple
per,
fucking question. Are you ball watching or are you watching like the
I
formation,
watch
the
the
way
game and
everything
I
is
don't huff
developing?
on paint like you do. Okay, that's what I do.
Man, he can't answer the question because he knows either way
Oh,
he's screwed.
shit. Did
You literally just said he came in as a striker.
Mira, güey,
You told a
algo que.
blatant
Hey,
lie.
Ricardo, real
Mira,
quick, real
mira, te
quick.
voy a decir
So
algo que
admit
me
you
Wait,
suena
lied then.
Ricardo,
café.
real
Admit
quick.
you
Hey,
lied.
Diaz, give me a sec. Ricardo,
Admit you
real
lied
quick.
then.
Ricardo, real quick.
People, listen to this guy. He's lying. He said
Ricardo, real
Quinones
quick.
came in as
Ricardo,
a
real quick.
striker, and he
Ricardo,
did
real
not
quick.
come in as a striker.
Are you in that play? He did. Now, real quick,
No, he did
Ricardo,
not.
are you in
No,
a
he didn't. You
relationship?
liar. You're
Ricardo,
you're
are
a
you in a
liar,
relationship?
chemo apologist. That's what you are.
Ricardo, I'm
And I
curious.
don't
Are
know
you
if
in a
you're a Chivas
relationship?
fan either.
Oh my
Are
god.
you
This
you
this
have a significant other,
You're
Ricardo?
crazy. You're spreading fake news. Listen
No,
to yourself.
I'm curious, man. Do you have a significant other? Are you in a relationship?
What does that have to do with this?
No, it's a yes or no. I'm not asking for names. It's just a yes or no.
You want to see what's going on in my bedroom? Like, what's wrong with you,
No,
guy?
it's just, man. It's just because you come on here, bro. You
People,
come on here
listen to
so
this
like
guy.
combative. You come up here so upset, starting to start arguments
Oh,
out of thin
oh,
air.
okay. Listen to this.
It makes
Listen to this.
me think.
This
It
guy
makes me
lied on a
think.
podcast, and
It
I'm
makes me
upset.
think that you're.
You're lying.
Makes me think
You
that you're un
lied.
mandilón. It makes me
Dice que
think
vienes
that
con el pito parado, güey.
it makes
Hey,
me think that at
maybe I
home.
do. Well, I'm not spreading lies like
It
this
makes me
guy.
think that at home
Y andas bien
you have
picudo.
no say,
Oh
you
my
have no
god.
word.
Oh my
You're
God.
put in your place
People, listen to this
to
guy. He's
come
a
to this
liar.
podcast to feel like a
He's the
man and take
2023 Jose Ramon,
argue with everyone
fake
else.
news
Like
spreader.
this podcast is where you become a man and you show your energy.
Okay,
Oh
okay.
my
Put your
Yeah.
foot
god.
down.
Y'all
So,
are
so
At
projecting
home,
way too much right
this,
now.
this guy is crazy right now. He's
I'm not projecting.
equate.
I'm chilling.
No, you're lying because you said a blatant
I
lie
think
on
you're
this
a
podcast.
mandilon in real life, my guy. Stop
Maybe
taking
I
that on
am,
that
but I'm not a
Diaz,
liar
bro.
like you.
Stop
You're
taking
a
it out on
fake
that
news
Diaz. If he wants to
expert.
be a Santi fan and ride Santi to the moon, let him be.
Oh man.
How does it affect you, my
All
guy?
right, you guys go ahead. I mean, I can't continue with these guys. These guys are just rambling off lie after lie, man.
All right. The most evenly matched game I think this week is Pumas Chivas. How we feeling about that now that Chivas have had a little little cool off period. You know,
Pumas moves on. Don't doubt Turco Mohamed and Liguilla. My guy knows how to play Liguillas. It seems he has the better out of his team than Pauno with Chivas. I think Pumas moves on. But then again, they're a small team, so that small team bullshit shows up and then they choke. But I want to say like 60-40 Pumas.
Pumas beat Chivas in the last regular season match 1-0 in that same game. Obviously, where we had a penalty kick given to Alexis. He missed it, and that was the reason why they finished in fourth. We finished in fifth. The tie serves us no good. We have to beat Pumas in 180 minutes. How you feeling about it, Joel? Maybe he's on cleaning duty. But Abdias, maybe you got your
No,
opinion.
I'm
Oh, there
I'm
you are.
with I'm with I'm with I'm with Habibi on this one. I like Turcos. I think it'll go both ways, but I think having Turk Turk there can balance the scales in Puma's favor. And I'm not too sure how much of the team right now Pauno still has. Um, there was that talk about him leaving and whatnot. So I don't know how much if he still has the locker room the way he did. I think that's what's gonna make this match more interesting. Kind of seeing that, and Turco, even Turco though, he's also been known to choke. So even though
Oh,
I
really?
agree with Habibi, he's the more experienced, but you know, he's he can also shit the bed, man. So let's see what happens here.
According to the sports line, Chivas are the favorites with plus 120, and Pumas are. Wait, sorry, I don't know. I don't know gambling. I know Habibi does. Pumas are plus 215 underdogs.
Really? At home? That's crazy.
I think the first leg.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's gonna be for the first leg, and Chivas opens right.
Oh, Chivas opens. That's why. Yeah, because they're at home, so they're favorite at home. But yeah, to
Look, that's what they say, but here's the thing, dude. So I'm gonna I'm gonna ride the train and I'm gonna say Pumas, but here's the reason why. I think Chivas has a problem getting warmed up. We saw what the
Oh,
League's Cup break did to them and how long it took them to get back into proper form and how it is that like Las Fechas FIFA affect them and things like that. So I think having this cooling off period is not going to do them well. I have like that's just me. It might be the paint, pero sabes qué, way? It's a cheap way to get high. So me vale verga.
what is interesting that Chivas is the only home team that's favored to win. Every other leg, all the away teams are favored. The home teams are actually underdogs. So Leon, San Luis, Puebla are all underdogs at home, according to the lines.
damn.
Because they know, bro, like that's the inside job. That's how they make sure that the house always wins. They're like, yo, we're gonna make this like little small team the favorite, and people are gonna put money into it, and that's how we're gonna win. Because there's no way Chivas is winning this one.
Franklin Cap says, I'm a Chivas fan, and watching Chivas gives me good night's sleep. He also says that Guti is a useless fraud.
Hey, but sometimes to win championship, that's the kind of ball you need. Good night, sleep ball. Remember last time Chivas won was with all those draws. Is usually those teams that just are flying and all over the place. rarely do they win many titles. They always come up short with some stupid defensive mistake.
There's just a lot of uncertainty going into this match as a Chivas fan, right? Because you've had a couple of weeks off and you've left this Alexis Vega drama sort of in the air. Is he in? Is he out? You know, there's a famous line by one of my favorite rap groups. It's there's no such thing as halfway crooks. So with Vega, I don't know. Are they trying to put him back into this lineup because they do better without him? I understand that the season is coming to an end and they're probably trying to offload him before his contract expires. So they're trying to get like a hot, quick sale going off. And I think leaving him on the bench will affect his value. So I can see why they would let him back into the starting lineup against Pumas, but I think it's a mistake. And I think that might also have rubbed some players the wrong way. And how does that look like for Pau, right?
I mean, it can be a mistake, but at the same time, it's like you usually think that plays that much of a factor where I mean, is Hierro there to give Amauri a you know a financial spreadsheet in the black, or is he there to deliver results on the field? So you think they would put? I mean, the decision comes down to the coach, but amongst Hierro and Pauno talking to each other how to address the situation, you think Chivas finances is their priority, or is it just bringing the results? And if bringing the results to them is having Beg on the field, that's debatable. But I'd be surprised if the finances are one of the key influences. If anything, I just think it's stupidity because when Bega was injured and he finally came back, that front of what was it, Padilla, Piojo Alvarado and whoever else was working. Then Leagues Cup comes in and they automatically start Bega. They didn't make him earn his
Mm-hmm.
spot back.
Yep.
So if they go with that stupid mistake again of not making him earn his spot back and just give it to him, I don't think it's finances. I just think it's just stupidity.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. Chivas have had more success with him off the field than with him on the field. That's just facts. Um, on the YouTube chat, someone 220 says, I go for America, but I believe Liguilla will go like the MLB playoffs. Only one of the top four teams will advance. I just believe they've taken a very long break. Thank you, someone, for your comment. I agree. I think the long layoff is going to affect the teams that didn't have to play in the last like 3 weeks, and the teams coming in from the play-in, like I said, momentum. They have all that going for them, at least going into their first leg.
Wait, so all of you guys are picking Pumas?
I would say over the course of 180 minutes, and because Pumas will advance on the tie, I do think Pumas will pass Chivas in this Liga match.
Yeah, I think Pumas is favorite. Uh, like I said, 60-40. I don't think it's like they're crazy favorites. Like Chivas has no chance, but I feel Pumas has a slightly advantage. As far as teams coming in form, that's a double edged sword. Because look at Leon; they played Wednesday, and when was their last game? Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So,
saying.
so they recovered Monday, and then Tuesday they practiced for their game plan against America. So if anything, it could hinder them, playing two games in less than 5 6 days.
And they lost Fidel Ambris red card against Santos. But
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if America gets a win tomorrow, whether it's a slight win or a big win. I think they're a favorite due to the fact that Leon would be their third game in what, a week, and they're missing one of their better players, I just don't see how a rested America is going to struggle against that.
What I will tell you is there's one player that would love to score against America, and that player is Viñas.
This is how big America is. It has the luxury of having these type of guys like Viñas, Uruguay Selección, and Cáceres, Uruguay Selección, and future. He's going to be sold off to Europe for a big amount of cash for America on the bench, unlike other teams. And I wanted to share something with you guys that I heard in this radio sports show that I listened to. They were mentioning one of the suitors for that bum Vega, the biggest fraud in Mexican football history.
Oh,
I can't
wow.
I can't be convinced otherwise. And the fact that some people were claiming he was going to go to Chelsea, I just can't take him serious anymore.
Chelsea.
Saying some people on this panel, but that's neither here
Who
nor there.
on this panel said he was
But
going to Chelsea?
or
I'm sorry, that,
No,
those
I don't think anybody made
those
that connection.
voices in your
go
head, man, you got to stop
no
listening
no
to them.
I got the VAR. Go to the VAR.
I got the VAR.
Go to that podcast. I remember. If anything, I'm hearing wacky Hermano Chemo apologist voices like yours. But nonetheless, they were mentioning that bum being they're gonna pull a switcheroo with of all teams Cruz Azul.
Oh, no. For who?
The names thrown out there were Lida or that other drunk Charlie Rodriguez.
Oh, God. We don't need another midfielder. I mean,
Those were the names being thrown around. And they're mentioning that Cruz Azul their team their owners are so dumb because that's what they are, very dumb owners that they're gonna uh, combine the super twins again, the drunks. What were they call them? The tamarindo twins because they drink that cheap vodka, the Antuna and Vega.
you imagine Antuna and Vega on the same team again?
This is why I don't feel sorry for when there some people they try to make excuses for these guys, and I keep when I see things like this, I just think about how these Mexican teams keep giving these bums chance after chance after chance. If these guys were lucky, they were born Mexican, and for whatever reason, soccer is popular in Mexico. Because if these guys were born in any other country, they'd be sweeping streets or picking up dog turds on the street, man.
It really just baffles me that any team would have interest in Alexis Vega after knowing his record. It's like, dude, like this guy should be like absolutely like barred to play in Liga MX after this. After this, what he did
Wait,
at
hold up.
Chivas.
I would like to call VAR as well because it sounds like you guys are saying that as terrible as you can be and the amount of stupid things you can do, you'll still have a chance in Liga MX from someone. So you're proving my argument when I said that you can go
Oh
to
my!
Europe,
I knew he was gonna go
fail,
there. I knew he was
and
gonna.
still come back for a Liga MX contract.
No one mentioned Europe ravioli.
It's the same thing. You can go to Europe and fail. You can
I'm
stay in Liga MX and drink all the tamarind vodka in the world. Someone's still gonna give you a chance.
okay. Let's say we concede to that. So you're basing your argument of them being over there that they're gonna succeed for whatever reason, knowing they're drunks, unathletic, and undisciplined.
No,
Is,
I'm not saying secede over there. I'm saying they can go where they're fell
oh, they can go to
because
Costa
Liga
Rica.
MX
They can
Alexis
go.
will be
hasn't
waiting
even.
with a welcome back mat.
Alexis won't even have the chance to do that, man.
He
Like
won't even have a
No,
chance,
no, no.
but if he
Alexis
did
chose
go over
not
there
to
and
have the
fail,
chance.
No, Alexis isn't
he
even
would
gonna go to
still
Europe.
come back to a Liga MX
Well, he
He
hasn't got.
contract.
chose not to go
He
because he
hasn't gone to
fucking
Europe.
chose not
you,
to
you,
go.
you see what I mean, Jaime? You just these guys are proving my point about that Chelsea shit. See what I mean? Hear no further. Like these guys really believe this guy had a chance to go over there. It was all fake
I never
news.
said he had a chance to go over there. I'm saying
It was his
that
promoters
any
spreading
Mexican
that bullshit.
player that is established in Liga
What
MX
I yeah.
can go to Europe,
Vega isn't
settle, and come back.
established.
What I
He
Vega
will
had a
was never
6 month trial with
established.
My guy, he
Wolves.
went to a World Cup with the number
and
10.
and is the
How is he
and
not
that's why he's the
established?
biggest fraud in the world. Like
He
you're
went to the World Cup with the number
off of
10.
fake
Whether he
news.
deserved it or
He
not,
didn't
that's
deserve it.
different.
You're proving my point.
Okay, he didn't deserve it, but that's established as you get.
So you're saying Mexico is full of stupid coaches? Then that's what you're and
Stupid
stupid
coaches,
directivos.
stupid directivos, bum players. Yeah, I'm saying all that.
Damn, man, well, why are you listening to? Why are you calling to the podcast, man? Then, like, if you're so miserable, go listen to the Premier League or La Liga podcast.
Because
Then,
it's my misery. No, forget
oh,
the Premier League.
you're just miserable. You're just a miserable guy, then, huh?
Yeah, I'm completely miserable.
I don't
That's
know
what I'm
about
here.
Alexis Vega Chelsea rumors, but I do recall them talking about Santi going to Real Madrid. That's one that I have heard on here.
Pero
That
espérate,
was
güey, que
banter.
no te, pero no se acuerdan ustedes la prueba de 6 meses que tenía con Wolves para que se fuera.
It was thrown out there, right? But he never really.
It was an official offer, and he said no.
Yeah, he said no.
So ese es el pedo. He
Oh,
had the choice. He had the opportunity, and he said no.
where can you provide an article of someone actually proving that happened, or him saying it, or he just said they offered him something? Like anyone can have offers. You always hear some random Mexican saying, "Oh, I'd offer to go to Real Madrid. I'd offer to go to Napoli." You see interviews all the time of these guys saying that. Like, where's this offer? Like, he never even mentioned it.
Yeah.
Pretty sure there's an interview of him saying, speaking about an offer, no?
An
With
offer, but
Chap-
no one said which team. That so he could be blatantly lying, and you guys are you just assuming it's a Premier League team.
Wait, but if it did happen or it didn't happen or it wasn't Wolves, it still doesn't change the fact that he said he had an offer and he declined it. Whether it's true or whether it's a lie,
Also, you're gonna believe lies
it
then?
shows his mentality where his train of thought is. If an actual offer came in and he said no, I'm not taking it, or if he made up that story, it's still the same result, it's still the same train of thought. So why does it matter if it's true or not? What matters is that he was not willing to, I guess, quote unquote, make a sacrifice, which is same time respectable. You know, some players want to do that. Some players want to aim higher. Some players are comfortable where they're at and they want to risk it. I mean, everyone has their own perspective on how to handle their professional career.
All I know, I don't want to hear Chivas fans ever complaining about someone being a fraud on the national team ever again. Because this guy will, like, this guy's he never even had arguments to being on the national team. Just because he was the best quotation mark player Chivas had. Or what does that mean? The guy Chivas was battling repechaje in those years. So is that something to like put on your resume? Oh, I was the best player on the team on a repechaje team. So you're gonna take that player to the World Cup? Like the highlights of this guy's career is showing his ass against Atlas, pre-Orlegi Atlas at that.
Hey, if anything, I think instead of being a negative reflection of Chivas or Alexis Vega, it's a negative reflection of everyone else. How come Chivas' worst product and one of their worst times is a starter at the national team for the World Cup? How come America, Monterrey, Tigres weren't producing a better player?
Isn't that the same Guillermo Ochoa argument, except without the media attention you guys like to throw at it and the fake news along with it? Why don't you guys produce someone better than Ochoa? Why wasn't the same why wasn't the same argument being made there with Alexis Vega?
That
Since you
argument
mentioned
has
it.
been made. There's no one that is competing with Ochoa for that spot. Malagon is not that good. Acevedo is not that good.
Okay,
Ochoa is starting
but
because no
is
one
it
can take it
hammered
away
in your
from him.
head the same way the Ochoa thing is though? It's not. You guys for whatever reason, Vega is the best Chivas player, so let's take him to the World Cup. Sounds to me like some team imposed a player on the national team.
I don't know about all of that.
Like he didn't have any numbers, Jaime. Like the most goals he ever had in the season were three. And if you're gonna tell me he's not a goal scorer and he's not an assist guy, then what is he? He's a
Okay,
decoy.
but going back
This got
to
sabor.
the
What is
argument
he?
I just made, okay, take Vega out. Oh, what was he playing? Left wing. During that time, what other left wing will you put in there?
I would have
What's his name? Antuna.
I would have put anyone that wasn't a drunk there. And if they're
Okay, throw out a
and if
name.
they're
That's
and
a
if
Throw
they're
short
all
list.
drunks, and if
throw out
they're
a name.
all drunks, you put the next one, the Alcantara. You put whoever's next in line. I don't
Throw out
care.
throw out one name of what winger you would have taken to the World Cup instead of Vega.
Instead of Vega,
Yeah,
Linus.
Linus.
Hmm.
Was he even in the World Cup?
He wasn't in the World Cup.
No, he wasn't even on the bench at Betis. That's why he wasn't even in the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
Starting
He wasn't
lineup
even seeing
was
minutes.
So real quick with that. I want to answer that. So you would rather take a guy that doesn't produce at all. Both guys don't produce. Let's get that out of the way. But one guy's clearly drinking and not even being a professional at all. He's just famous in Chivas for whatever reason, showing his ass.
Hey,
You
you're not
let me
arguing
know
with me. You're arguing with Jaime and Joel because I'm using their argument that all that matters is
No, but
playing minutes.
you mentioned Linus. You
Playing
mentioned
minutes.
Linus.
I'm
No,
using
don't
their
switch the
argument
argument.
that playing
Oh, you're
minutes are
switching the argument.
priority
You see,
over
you're switching the
non-playing minutes.
argument. You're
No, I
switching the
wouldn't take
argument.
neither one. I wouldn't take neither one if I'm being
Oh,
honest with
so
you.
you answered your own question then. So you don't take Vega then.
Yeah, I don't take Vega, but I don't take
All right.
like Ness
So
either. I'm not
okay.
agreeing with you because
No,
I wouldn't
you're
take him
clearly
either.
agreeing with me. You're clearly agreeing with me
No,
that
I'm not
you
agreeing with your choice of like
you
Ness as a better option
all
because
right.
he.
But you answered your own question. You were saying who would you take other than Vega, and you yourself said you wouldn't take Vega. So so you're proving my point. The guy never deserved to be there, and he was for whatever reason he was there.
No, but it's the same argument as Ochoa. Like I wouldn't take Ochoa, but at the same time, there's no one else coming up to the plate.
No, but again, to my point, it wasn't hammered in your head like the crazy conspiracy guys that you are and the pink sniffer guy is with the Ochoa. No one was saying this about Vega. Everyone kept saying, or correct me if I'm wrong, everyone was saying he had abilities and how are they saying it in Picante? They're saying he had talent. He had untapped talent. Like what are you basing that off of? What was that based off of?
My guy, you're arguing with the wrong people. You need to call the 1-800 Football
Oh,
Picante number. Because,
okay.
like, you're talking about the media where trophies comes in for, like, 1-2 games and El Messi Mexicano. Like, Ness comes in for 1-2 games. El
Hey,
Messi
and he scored,
Mexicano. It happens
and
on
he won
both
two
sides.
titles
It happens
already.
in
What did
America.
Alexis
It
Vega
happens
do?
in Chivas.
What did he do? He didn't do anything, and he went to the World Cup.
Nos enseñó esas nalgas súper
Oh,
jugosas y deliciosas.
and that's my point. He got famous for something that's not football related. Or he got popular, or he got a push for whatever, and that's something that's Televisa tactics that you always complain about.
¿Sabes qué, güey? Hablando de Televisa, look at what I just shared. It's from your own media. It's from TUDN, from an interview que le hicieron hace unos cuantos
I don't know.
meses.
So you're agreeing with the fake news website? That's what you're telling me?
¿Con qué? ¿Con qué? TUDN?
Yeah.
Güey, ustedes le pagan. So, no sé cuál es el pedo.
Oh.
we did.
Televisa money. It goes all over the place.
Tata didn't really take any other, you know, alternatives to the World Cup.
And he started every game.
If you look at that game against Poland, he started with Henry Martin and Chucky Lozano, and he was, I think, taken off for Antuna. But if you look at the bench, Antuna was really his only natural replacement. Obviously, you have Piojo, and I mean Orbelin. Is he a winger? I don't think he's a winger.
No. No, he's not a winger.
So they didn't really take that many wingers to the World Cup.
That was my question. If you don't take Vega, who else do you take?
Not him. I don't care who you take. You don't take him. For
That's my whole point. I mean, do as much Chivas slander, as much Vega slander as you want. Your real beef is with the rest of the country not producing players to compete with these bums. Why are you mad at Chivas that they produce a
no,
C plus bum
no,
and
but
no one else can produce a plus
you
bum to
guys
replace
couldn't even
them?
produce him either, though. He's a. If you're gonna be
Oh, so it's not
technical,
our fault then.
no, oh, it is your fault because you promoted him that way, and you yourself
No,
promoted
no,
him.
we didn't produce him. You just said
You
it.
you you
Ring
said
ring, end the
you
match.
said he was going to Chelsea. I'm not gonna waste it. I'm not gonna waste my time looking up the podcast of you saying it. But you said it. I remember the conversation very
I
clearly. You said,
said Vega is going to Chelsea.
yeah, you said he had an offer from Chelsea. You said that.
Hmm. Saying that he has an offer or there's news of him going to Chelsea is
I'm
completely
looking at
different.
the tweet that Abdia shared, and I put the reply on there. Loser Mexican mentality. That is why Mexico hasn't produced an elite player like Hugo Sanchez. That's funny.
I don't know, man. I
Look,
agree, disagree with those type of
you can
comments.
you can flip a coin to decide who's going to win that Pumas Chivas match. As far as the rest of the fixtures for Liga MX, we have our favorites, our preferidos. Although someone 2020 or sorry 220 said, I now realize that the top two, America and Monterrey, are doomed. They're playing against teams that are in rhythm versus others that are equally rested.
Como siempre les digo, cuidado con las gorritas.
Puebla was hot last year, and everyone's picking them against Tigres. I even remember, I don't think it was Joel or Jaime that picked Puebla last year, and they ended up losing. Mom- I get the momentum, like I said, I get the
Mm.
momentum argument, but talent comes into factor eventually.
Yeah, definitely. I just think it's been an abnormal amount of time, that they've haven't played. With the Mexico games and then having to wait for the play in, it just feels like that's a long time to not be active.
So, by the sounds of it, it seems like you guys like watched the matches. Honestly, I didn't. Just the whole idea of the playing, I was like, I'll just start watching once Liguilla starts. But man, that playing turned out to be a waste of time by the looks of it. The top eight qualify directly. I'm like, how much extra money could have they made where it's like worth it?
Mm-hmm.
It just seems stupid. Like you could have started Liguilla sooner, or like I don't know. It just seems like terrible planning. Like they never thought about, hey, what if we do this playing and regardless, 7 and 8 still qualify.
And not considering the fact that if Leon do handle business against America, and if they continue to progress in this Liga MX Liguilla, the final will have to be postponed because they have to fly out to play in the Club World Cup.
Okay, so since Ricardo says conspiracy theorists, you're saying there's gonna be some arbitrary decisions to make sure Leon doesn't make it that far, and that's why Fidel Ambris got a red card. They're already poking him in the butt.
Yeah, because I mean, don't take into account that Fidel Ambriz is a red card machine. You could look up the history, but
Yeah, but I'm
oh,
just saying,
oh,
giving them two
oh more
days
serious.
rest.
I mean, if you really want to go there, I mean, it's not like America's getting the same ref for the last three games of Liguilla like a certain team did in
Hey,
2017.
I'm not saying they're helping America. That's your guilty conscience. I'm saying they want
No,
Leon out,
no,
regardless of who Leon is playing.
no. I said from the beginning, America's going to win, and I'm in agreements with you guys. Thanksgiving just passed, but Chivas is going to get stuffed by Pumas.
I don't know about stuff. I think it's gonna be a lot closer. I think it's gonna be like a 1 goal difference. either
And
way.
I'd like to applaud that Chivas fan that Jaime mentioned from the comments, because for whatever reason, like people keep thinking when they say Chivas and when anytime they win, they say that they have that they're playing well. I don't know, but and I always question that, like playing well, like what do you mean by that? And this guy just like he said what everyone knows is to be true. Like Chivas is a ratonero team. Like they all they do is fall back and go for the counter.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just everyone has their different flavor, their different way of playing. Some people think it's boring. People think it's practical and it helps you get wins. All that depends is how you end the season. Like Pauno, when he like parked the bench or parked the bus against Tigres, if he pulls that off, he looks like a tactical genius. He got the lead early in the first half, and then he protected it well the second half. Here's your championship. You're a genius. I mean, look at Chivas America. If Fidalgo doesn't get that red card, America most likely moves on, and let's say they go on to win it, and all of a sudden, the guy who ditched America for Monterrey is seen as a genius, and he probably still be the America coach right now. It's all little circumstances that change the narrative.
Though, but you can take it before that with Chivas getting the two non-call penalties against Atlas. You can start from there.
I don't remember anything Atlas related.
No,
That's the team I despise the most in Liga MX.
yeah, and that's what blinds you from the truth.
No, I just remember anything Atlas related. I
Oh
mean, we're
man.
talking about Atlas and robberies. We can talk about their bicampeonato both being robberies.
And 2017 is not a. Oh, I forgot. You mentioned it before. It's human mistake, right?
And that
With
was
having
that
three,
before VAR? I can't remember.
having the same ref in the last three games. That's clearly human mistake.
It must be, man. It must be. Or maybe we paid an extra bonus to have the same guy. Like Sunday League, you pay the ref a little extra so you can do your game instead of somebody else's.
That's why I always say Chivas is the Eddie Guerrero of Mexican football. These guys lie, they cheat, and they steal, man.
Hey,
These
man,
guys are
most
some real
people love Eddie
nasty
Guerrero,
people.
so that's a compliment.
I didn't.
I shedded a little bit of tears when that man passed away. I think that was the first and maybe only celebrity death. Oh, never mind, Kobe, that I felt a certain way about.
What grown man watches wrestling? I never got into wrestling.
Grown man, bro, I was in fourth grade,
Oh,
third
never mind.
grade,
No, I watched it
third
when I was
grade.
a kid. I don't. I can't name you
There's a lot
two
of
wrestlers.
wrestling like fanatics on this man on this podcast. I don't know. There
We've
was
talked about it in the past, bro. It's called growing up poor and it being on open air TV.
all right.
And you
I'm
can
just gonna
imitate it, man. We were like white kids where like you can like hit each other, like we could actually imitate it ourselves, jump off the couches and shit.
look.
Parents didn't give a fuck.
I saw an unpleasant scene when I was a kid, and I said that's gonna be it for me, folks. It was this ginormous, obese man named Rikishi, and I saw this dude sit on someone's face. And after
Wait,
that,
that turned you off?
I was like, I'm cool, guys. I'm gonna stick to watching soccer because
My guy, you're soft. We had the Mr. McMahon Kiss My Ass Club when people sleep over. Like, you didn't want to sleep over. You sleep with one eye open because if not, this kid would do a Rikishi and you would join the Mr. McMahon Kiss My Ass Club. So you were afraid to fall asleep during a sleepover because of that.
nah, I never did sleepovers for that reason, dog. Can't.
Oh my God, you were soft. You
Nah,
lived in a
son.
bubble. You lived in the bubble, my guy.
I was definitely a sheltered kid, but I'm glad I was because that's some gay shit right there.
You're telling me Trish Stratus, Casey Keebler, and all that, then overcome the Rikishi?
These
Bro,
people.
you
That's why you grow
hold
up.
on.
You grow up. You
You
get a little tequila and you start swinging both ways. I'm cool off that,
wait,
dog.
you mean to tell me you don't know about bra and panty matches?
Wait, well,
Like
Jaime does
like
that.
you got
That's
two
two
fat
Brian
bitches
Penny matches of Diaz.
Mande?
Jaime has his own bra and panty matches. In la recámara,
We used to do
he gets on the dresser.
the pajama party. Yeah, those were dope.
Well, but Jaime had a point. I mean, once they start showing on TV a big black guy hooking up with a grandma, and the grandma has a plastic baby toy
There's a
leg,
McHenry.
the Mark Henry. Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Oh
about.
man, yeah,
Once
that
they
made
start
me
doing
stop
things like
watching.
that, you lose me, man.
Yeah, you know what lost me? I don't know if it was a Survivor series, but it was a Kane versus Undertaker, and I think it's Kane. He's walking to the ring, and he stops, and he shoots a fireball from his finger. I don't know how they did it, but it looked like a fireball. It goes to the ring, and it just like explodes right before him. I, I don't know if it was Undertaker shooting it or Kane, one of them two, but I was like, all right, this is too much. This is, you know,
Wait, so
it
your
was like,
complaint was that it wasn't realistic? I mean, it's
no, that
entertainment.
it's just, yeah, but that to me is like, it takes away from it, from
It's
like the
over the
whole,
top, right, Hole?
it's
Wow.
too much. Yeah, like
Guys, if we
that,
want
that,
real
that,
You're
arguments,
seeing a live Kamehameha and you're complaining? Are you kidding me right now?
wait, I'm
yeah,
seeing what?
yeah, I'm about to give you guys three good arguments of what killed it for me. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and the amount of female WWE performers that were sexually abused during the Iraq
Oh,
tours. Those three. Those are real arguments as
I
to why
didn't even
you're
know
like,
that was a thing. I know what I'm gonna Google once this podcast ends.
yeah, dude, it was bad and it is bad. Like, there's affidavits and everything. It happened a lot, and the WWE and Vince McMahon knew, and they covered that shit up.
He Jaime, what he's saying is right though. Like you can say whatever you want about wrestling, but the shit has like some crazy stories, man. Like some crazy podcasts that go around. Like what these guys got away with. Like it's some true crime type of shit, man.
Yeah, no, I bet. I think I did tune into a episode of Joe Rogan. I don't really watch Joe Rogan, but he did interview the Undertaker, and Undertaker was like, I thought he was cool. So he talked about his like whole story, and these guys were not getting paid anything in the beginning, so yeah, they did a lot of sacrifices.
Well, going back to the original point, if Chivas is the Eddie Guerrero of Liga MX, that is a compliment to me. I'll take it.
Bro, I live my life by like lie, cheat, and steal.
I
Eddie Guerrero
swear.
taught me right.
So what you got? Well, having said that, America has to be Bret Hart, the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be, man.
No, America's like Triple H. Just slept with a boss, so now gets benefits of it.
Nah, but bro, even worse. America's pinche Kurt Angle. Like, only
Oh
has
yeah.
one move. Y eso es todo.
oh damn.
Oh no, you know
Cruz
who else
Azul,
could be Kurt Angle?
Cruz Azul.
Tigres. Like that small ass team that thinks they're like amazing because of some medal, but no one still respects them.
Hey, but Cruz Azul is gold dust.
I don't even know who that is, so
That
it
guy
makes
with the
sense.
gold,
Gold Dust is the
that gay
Dustin
wrestler.
Rhodes, or what with the Rhodes? Era el hijo de Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, the one dressed in gold,
There he was doing like
the transsexual shit.
like yeah, he's ahead of his time. It,
Era
that's also
puto, pero
like
nomás no lo decía.
that's also like what turned me off of like because I got into it when I was a little kid, but then you start seeing other wrestling, and if you see like Dusty Rhodes, if you see how he was in WWE, like almost like a clown, salía con Sapphire bailando, and if you see his matches when he was like in NWA, like steel cage, like goddamn
Pero,
bloody feuds, man. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? It's basically you could kind of see it with Cactus Jack, how they had him almost playing the clown, and then later on they just let him do his stunt because he was doing all those type of matches, like in ECW and in Japan and other wrestling, but in WWE you had to be almost cartoon like because they would sell toys and whatnot, so they they were marketing more for kids. So a lot of good wrestlers when they went to WWE, I mean, they kind of had to become this like gimmick, and it's crazy if you saw like the type of matches they would do or the type of wrestling stuff. And then once they went there, it was like, I guess some of them didn't care because at that point they're making some good money.
Y'all need to bring me back to earth because this WWE shit
Yeah,
is.
we
I'm
went.
lost, dog.
You lost it.
Ok, ok, mira, güey, ¿sabes qué?
I mean,
Pinches pochos, le voy a traer un poquito de cultura. Y la triple A, güey, ¿qué pedo? ¿El perro aguayo? ¿El pinche santo? ¿Octagón? ¿La parca? Los rudos, cabrones.
the midget
I
wrestling.
just want to know the midget that got like kicked the shit out of. I want to know who that guy was. That guy was.
As a Mexican hero, it should be on a bill on a peso.
El Tinieblas, güey, no mames. O no miraban la triple A.
I
I
used
got to see some of it,
sometimes
and
on
if you, I mean,
Galavision they would play it, but yeah.
yeah, that's where I would see it. But it's crazy to think because like Mex, how big wrestling was. Like if you go back to like the 50s and 60s, it was just huge, and it was to the point where they were doing movies, so they were like ahead of the
I've
time,
seen Nacho
and
Libre.
and
A huevo, el
no, no, not
santo.
Nacho Libre. They were doing
Güey, el santo contra la
Santos versus
momia.
yeah, and then they did crossovers, dude. They were ahead of the Avengers, dude. They had like the
Crossovers.
Blue Demon and Santos versus the aliens and shit like that, dude. They yeah, man. You can see all these like movies
Wow.
that they were making where it was like real life Avenger shit.
Sorry guys, I got to bring it back to Liga MX, but I had Franklin. He said, um, Chivas is cross spamming with under Paunovic. That's the game plan. And if that fails, there is no plan B. So you know the result before the game starts. That also sounds like Mexico. If I'm being completely honest, Mexico's doing that same shit too, just spamming the cross button and hoping something happens. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
need one of you nerds to pull up how many headers Chivas and Mexico have scored like within their last 20 games.
I
I'd
think
be
I think Ricardo Marin scored off a header, right? That's about it.
yeah, because with the amount of crossing both those teams do, and I'm pretty sure that their conversion rate is easily under 10%. Easily.
We need a nerd with the XG, expected goals.
So what are you guys saying? When Mexico crosses the ball to the box and the undersized strikers are being dwarfed by the big black guys, that's not a good game plan
Well,
for like the last 40 years.
Chivas players aren't even being dwarfed either. I mean, it's just a terrible game plan overall. I still think it'd be a terrible game plan if you had a bunch of tall guys as well. Like, it's just to me, it's
Predictable.
very predictable. It's like caveman style playing. It's like so old. Literally, like you coach, like you practice 5 times a week, and the best you can come up with is play out wide instead of cross. Like, why even practice?
That's why I always hit back at Mr. Joel when he questions why Mexico's dominance in the region, and like you would think these guys, after seeing it literally year after year, they would switch it up eventually, right? Like how like you can't point to a team that has any other game plan except that
We
in
have
CONCACAF.
yeah, and I feel like Mexico, I don't know when is the last time I've seen them impose a style, a style of play. It's been a long time.
Probably La Volpe.
Yeah.
Definitely a defined style. Definitely not no just crossing relentlessly for no reason. Uh, with Herrera yeah, they had a style as well. Uh,
Well, he comes from like the same school of thought, right? Piojo, like line of what was it? Line of five? Did we play with
yeah,
the?
I think
Yeah.
Piojo loved doing a line of five, but they had a style. I mean, Osorio, yes and no. He was very big on adapting to the team they were facing, and then Chivas games put you to sleep. That was the same thing with Tata Martino, especially those last few years. It was either like put you to sleep or just anger, frustration.
Right, but are you guys really expecting a coach to come in and like impose a style on Mexico? Like at this point, I think the best Mexico could do is just get another cheerleader type to motivate these little bitches. Like the best, like what Piojo Herrera did. Like you have to find something like that. Like I know Jaime likes the Osorio with the set pieces. I like that too, but at this point, like you guys keep saying it, like the players aren't being produced. So the best you could do, in my opinion, is just get another cheerleader type of coach. He's gonna get walked all over the players anyways.
I don't think Piojo got walked over by the players though.
No, not
You know,
no, not Piojo. Piojo did a good job, but right now
yeah,
these
he
coaches are gonna walk. Tata and Coca got walked over, and Jimmy. You could say Jimmy too.
well they didn't give Coca. That's been my complaint. Not saying that I wanted him, but they basically left him out to drown because they were already gonna replace Iraragorri, so they just let him sink. And that's kind of messed up. That he didn't get any support from the Federación.
You didn't have
But I do
support
see
from
a
the
little.
players either. I mean, they kind of
I,
like entendieron la cama.
yeah, I completely agree. And I see a bit of the whole Jimmy. Well, I wouldn't call it cheerleader, but there was that one clip where he's dancing. Right, there's like a group. I don't know what they were doing. It's after a practice or after a match, and he's like dancing in the middle, like the players are around him. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that clip.
With his daughter, or with his daughter.
No, it wasn't his daughter. It was at the seleccionados. He did
Oh,
do a TikTok with the daughter, but this one was like after a training session or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't think he's like that cheerleader level that like Piojo was. I think like Jimmy's still trying to like impose some style, and also Jimmy's a fraud because when he was on those Los Maestros show, if you watch the lineups he would post and like the game styles he would talk about, and then you actually watch him like try to apply it on the national team, not even close on the call ups or the style that he said he would do or how the team should play. He reminds me of that soap opera actor that was also a coach, Rafa Puente Jr. Like all good talk, but when it comes time to applying it, not so much.
he worked
He
at
did win the
Chivas.
Coca though. He did win the Coca. So Jimmy, so far
Against Panama, no
he won it, but hey, he won it. He has that trophy now. He's got the medal. He can't take it away.
If you break the bar off, it'll you could open the wrapper. It'll be like a piece of chocolate.
Even better, pinche bubulubu, güey, vale madre. Still he has it right.
Oh man. Guys, we're at the 2 hour mark. I want to give you guys your
Yeah,
closing thoughts on today's episode. It can be your predictions for who's going to win the whole thing. It's really you guys' chance to shine here. But before I do that, one last comment from the YouTube chat. Disco Fever, yeah. Giving his love to Ricardo earlier in the show, but then now says Lozano is way out of his league. Biesla was the answer. And he also said that Biesla
I mean,
was solely responsible for Chile's golden generation. He debuted players in the national team before they debuted for their club. Wow.
no, He's always done that though. He's always done that, but I wouldn't give him all the credit because those talented players were there. So I do think he got the best out of them, but it's not like it's like if you're gonna say who discovered Rafa Marquez, he's in the he's in the youth, and then you think as a coach you're discovering him. It's kind of obvious that this kid was gonna go places, and it's just kind of the same with Chile, where they had all these really great players, a lot of them playing together, and I think it just worked well having a coach like Bielsa with that likes the younger players and not afraid to put them on the field. But I do. That's been kind of been my gripe as well, where like a lot of times they'll say almost like if he came in and they just popped out of nowhere. A lot of these players were already there.
He
I don't
says
know.
that Bielsa scouted and gave opportunities to young players.
Yeah, I give him his respects on that. I mean, it's not just like they were
But they were in
there.
clubs, dude. They weren't exactly playing in a Llano. They were already playing pro clubs. Not like they were playing in a Sunday
Yeah,
league.
but that doesn't matter. I'll give you a perfect example. Mayorga with Osorio. He took him to Confederaciones, with the national team, and the guy hadn't even debuted in first division. Let's say
Yeah, but he
Osorio.
was there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the same thing. If it would have worked out, it's like, whoa, he saw this talent in the guy who hasn't even played in first division.
Okay, but my point is, these guys were still going to end up doing good because they're that good. So I think,
I don't know.
and I
I
do give
think
him
coach
credit.
You still
confidence.
need
No,
you
they're
still need
still going to
a
do good.
you still need a coach
No,
that's gonna have your
even
corner.
if they well, look at Marquez, right? They debuted him the national team at 17. That's how old he was when Bora Milutinovic,
But who scouted him? Wasn't it
made his
Bielsa?
debut. No, he was in Atlas. I'm just saying
Does
he was already there.
but
Anyone that saw him play already. It's like if you see Messi, do you
but
oh, this
isn't
dude's gonna be
Yeah,
good.
but we're not
isn't
saying
B-
that
isn't
Chile had eight
isn't
Messi.
isn't Bielsa like credited to Atlas's like golden generation?
He is to an extent, but a lot of times he gets way more credit. Like
I don't
he
know,
you
but you
had
sound like a hater because it
I'm not
seems
a
like
hater.
everywhere he goes, he finds like a golden generation just by luck.
No, I'm
The
not
man
saying by
has a
luck.
role. The man has an influence.
Not by luck, man. Come on. He does. He does have that, but then you have to wonder why some of these other places then end up not doing anything. It's not like the players just stop showing up because he left. Um, Atlas was already working. They were working on the cantera. Since- And so they had like Efraín Flores and also Güero Real working and
I
getting
don't know,
players
my
there.
guy.
Dude, didn't
You
he?
Leeds
could you could
Leeds
see
went through
you
like
could see the
17
interviews.
coaches
You could
before
you
going
could
back to
no,
the
dude.
Premier League.
This can
Bielsa
easily be
comes
fact
in and
checked,
puts
dude.
them in the Premier League.
You could
Like, this
easily
isn't luck.
fact check this because you can see when those players were when they started and when Bielsa arrived. So that's my point.
You need to give
Some
him
of these
his
guys were
props.
already there from. It's like very similar to when Hans Westerhoff came to Chivas. A lot of those players were already in the youth for like 5 years. A lot of them had already debuted, but what he did was he started playing all of them, all of the young talented players that were there, like Kamasa and Salcina, all of those guys. He started giving them the majority of the playing time, and like Massa, he made him a starter from day one. Massa had
Yeah, and
already
that's on the coach.
debuted.
That's where you give the coach the props. Not every coach will do
I
that.
Well, see, this is now you're arguing something else. What I'm saying is that the player was there. It's not like he exactly found him. The player was already there. So I do give him credit, but it's not like he found him. How are you gonna find him? He's there. Like he's right in front of you. He made the best of what was at hand. And so I mean, I'm not saying credit, but I'm like people give them way more
No,
credit.
my
Like
guy, I
let's give.
disagree because if you go like to even like a professional team tryout, you have like 200 guys trying out,
But you're talking
and
about tryout.
everyone
You're
sees
talking about
something
players that
different,
already
man.
made
Yeah,
it.
the players are in
But
front
that's
of you,
different.
but you still have to find them. Same thing. If you have your first division team, your sub 23, your sub 20, your sub 17, It's not like, oh, the player's just there, like he didn't find them. No, you technically do got to find them amongst all the players within your institution. You
No,
got to
dude,
find someone that fits your formation, fits your style, that you see the talent that others don't see. Like, yeah, you sort of do find them in a sense.
A manager's confidence is everything to a young player.
it is.
So I don't think like think about it. Who else is doing that? No other coach in Mexico is doing that.
Doing what?
Like like say for example, Jimmy took Marcelo Flores to the world. It's like you just don't see that. You don't see like coaches just throwing these kids out there like that. Like you just don't see it.
Oh yeah, but that's most because it's a short season. So and
No,
then
I'm
a
talking
lot.
about
What's the
like on the
lifespan?
national team.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, but you go from that because it's kind of the same thing with the national team where it's like you're having one bad tournament and they already want to boot you. When Bora Milutinovic came back and he goes to Copa America and he left out a lot of the older players, uh, they were already threatening to take him out, and that's team ends up placing third. Breakout performance by Luis Hernandez, right, where he normally wouldn't have probably even had a chance, just because they wanted the old cats that were still around, and so it's
Like the
a lot
last
of the.
time
Wait, so are you giving Bora props for that, but not giving Bielsa props for doing the same damn thing in
Right.
Chile?
I'm talking about how it's. No, we're talking about the national team now and how.
Yeah, it is the national team. So Bora, he played it with the young guys. He gave him the confidence. He didn't quote unquote find them, but he delivered results. So you gave him his
Yeah,
props, which is the same thing Bielsa did
I
over
am,
in
I
Chile.
am giving Bill some props. I'm just saying he didn't
Now
find
sounds
those
like a
guys. I'm
hater.
saying those guys were there. They were all gonna do good. Uh,
Bielsa debuted
did he make them
There's
Aranguiz.
better?
no
Yes, I
guarantee
would
that they
agree
were
that
gonna
he
do
made them
good. That
better.
comes down to the coach. I don't know why you're under the
No, dude,
assumption that they're gonna do good regardless of who
it's
came in.
it's it players
That's the
that are
whole
like
point
at
of a
that
coach.
level, like a Messi,
Zone
like
gives you
Messi
good
for
results,
example,
others don't.
even Ronaldinho. You think he wasn't gonna
Well, we're not saying that
do
Chile
what he
had
did, even
seven
had he
Messi's,
stayed at, like, let's
Ronaldinho's.
say
No,
That's
dude.
not
Gremio.
What
Of
Chile.
we're
course, he
what
was gonna do
what we're
good.
saying
Gary
is like
Mendel, that's not a Messi. That's not an elite player, but he got the best out of Gary Mendel. You know, Vidal, and then who was
Aranguiz.
the other? Aranguiz. You know, like they were
Vidal
great, but
was
they
a
weren't
really good player,
elite.
man.
They weren't like at Messi's
Former,
level where you're like, wow, this guy's like a legend of Chile.
I
Like,
wouldn't
no.
say world class, but they were
Alexis
still at
Sanchez.
a very good
Yeah,
level.
Alexis Sanchez too.
Alexis, a lot of
No,
those
I'm not gonna
guys
lie. I
were at
think
a very
Alexis
high
Sanchez was
level.
the best out of all of them. I saw him play live, and
Hey, but
that is
what
one
are
of
you
the
guys
hardest working
arguing?
players I've ever seen.
Like, are you
Habibie, as
do you
usual,
do you guys
pissing
want
off the
this
pot.
do you guys want this guy as the head of player development and selection, or as a coach? Because as a coach, if you look at his results, he hasn't won
Yeah,
anything.
I
he
wanted
said it
both.
himself. Yeah,
I said this before they appointed the coach. I wanted him to come in, set everything up, have Jimmy or Rafa, somebody as his assistant, and then once the results start going sour, because you know they'll go sour with them, but he's already laid the foundation for everything else. You fire him, and then you have the Mexican take over.
That wouldn't happen in Mexico.
It's happened everywhere else.
You're
Everywhere else
comparing.
he goes, he comes in, he puts in the foundation. They take
How's that
advantage
going
of
for
it, and then he
Leeds?
leaves.
How's that going for Martial?
yeah, that's what I was trying to tell him. Like once he
Look,
leaves, a lot of that shit like just withers out. And if you think
like
it was like that they would have kept it. It's not like you can all of a sudden not know what he was doing.
he gets credit. All right, like, I get what you guys are saying. He. I'm not gonna go as far as you guys and say he molds and creates these players out of the blue, and
Yeah,
he's
that's
kind
what
of
I really saying.
he. I'll give you this. He knows how to pick them. If anything,
Yes.
he knows how to pick them. But as a coach, I would say he's a fraud. He had the best Argentina generation ever, and he didn't do it. He got eliminated in the first round. If I'm
Yeah,
if I'm not
no,
mistaken.
you are not mistaken. Failed.
He's one of those
In all
guys
other
that just
rounds.
can't get out his own way.
Yeah,
You see it
I
on
thought they were thinking.
you see what happened at Leeds United, right? Like he had that like what was like an hour long press conference when they accused him of spying. He's like he broke down every single team's like playbook, and the staff weren't really happy with that. Like they just felt like it was unnecessary what he did. But this guy, you got to give him credit as far
He's a
as
bad genius.
developing players and having systems and like this dude can imagine him overseeing all our youth development from 13 all the way up to the first team. Like we would be seeing a lot more debuts. We'd be seeing
He's a
players.
mad genius, man.
But he wouldn't do that.
You would see players leapfrogging from under 20 all the way up to the senior team. Like why would you waste
I don't know
time?
about that, Jaime. I don't know about that. Maybe you would see them debuting for the national team, not so much their club team, and that's been the problem. And Mexico has already had good success at the youth level, but those players then go away because once they get to once they're back at their clubs, they're not getting that. They're not getting shown that respect. So I mean, we kind of saw that already, even during the when Nestor was there and the way he set up the whole youth thing, and he was talking about it in one of the podcasts how they made a commission of the top scouts in Mex, not the top scouts, like the top like the youth coaches in Mex from like Pachuca, from other teams with the better canteras, and they would meet like once a month every now and then to talk about like player development and who was doing what, and they were choosing their teams like that, and that's when they end up winning under 17. They win Toulon, they win the Olympics, and it's very successful. And it sucks that once uh, Nestor left, like you didn't need him there. Once you saw what's working, you could keep it. They just did away with it. Whoever came in and said,
Wait, Joel, I'm gonna
"I
call
don't
you
need
on
this
your
shit."
double standards again.
What
You
double
criticize
standard?
you criticize Marcelo Bielsa that when he leaves, it turns into a shit show, and
Yeah,
that he leaves a fire behind him. But when Nestor de la Torre does it, oh no, it's because they didn't continue his work like they should have. He laid the foundation.
because
Why
it's
did they
not with
screw it
different
up?
night and day. Because it's like Nestor, and someone could just say, "Ah, fuck this guy." But this is Bielsa you're
It sounds
talking
like the
about.
same thing to
We're all,
me. Why didn't
we're
he
all,
just
we're all
continue his
recognized, right?
work?
No, it's like if you work at a restaurant and Colonel Sander gets there and gives you the recipe for the 13 spices, and then you just once he leaves, you're like, "Ah, I don't really need this shit," and you start doing whatever crap. Do you know what I mean? This is like a known dude told you what to do, and then you were like, "Yeah, I don't need this shit. I'm gonna do my secret recipe."
So who's that
That
blame? The colonel or me?
you.
Okay, so why you blaming Marcelo Bielsa that when he leaves, everything goes down to shitter? Apparently, they then follow the recipe.
Well, because it's part of like how he is, where like his secrecy and shit like that.
Sounds
Uh,
like hate. This man
no,
stole
it's
your
not.
girlfriend like 20 years ago.
No, it's sort of like what they do, and it's like they come in and then they're like they put all their staff, and then they're doing everything, and then they don't allow other people to do stuff, and then when they leave, I take my ball and I'm gone. Sort of like that. That's kind of similar.
Hey,
Where it's
Cole,
like,
I got something to say about. I seen this interview on YouTube. These Argentines were talking about how Bielsa almost went to Chivas, right?
Oh
yeah,
And
yeah.
and they were talking about how he had a meeting with like the late owner and everything, and it was pretty much
yes,
all agreed on.
Hmm.
And the guy, the Vergara, the Ponzi scheme owner, he pretty much nicked it at the bud
it did.
as soon as Bielsa said, "I don't want you involved."
Yeah, he said
And
Yes,
the only time
if
I want
you
to
would,
see you is when you sign my contract and when you fire me.
yes, and that was confirmed by the guy that was the GM at the time. He did a podcast with Medrano, and he was at the meeting, and exactly like Jaime said, and Vergara tells him
He's like, you know
it's
what?
not gonna work.
He's
It's
like,
not gonna work between
yeah.
us, is it? And he's like, nope. And he's like,
and
all
that
right,
that
fuck
would
it.
happen if he came to Mexico. How many people would
Yeah,
be in his ear like that? That's why it would never
Yeah,
work.
Yeah,
well,
no.
pretty much.
You imagine
But also,
you imagine like the media trying to impose players on Biesla. Imagine the outrage.
I don't think they would. But to me, it would be like it would be more of like um, if FMF told them, "Do this for us," like you're building the system for us, not we're using your system. You know what I mean? We're using your system while you're here or your people's here, but you're doing something for us. But as much as I like it, I think Mex has been successful at doing it. We've just not been successful at following up when we do get it right. Say every other cycle is like a whole new group of people comes in and they want to do their own shit.
I remember Biesla, like he joined was it Lille? It was like one of those French teams,
It
and
was.
he like left after a couple months, right? Like
Yeah, Bielsa is he's soccer autist, right? He's soccer Rain Man. Uh, he
Yeah.
he operates on Bielsa time. Just don't let him do his thing in the background. He's too autistic to be able to, manage a team and it fizzles out. But if in the perfect world, there's a role or there's a place where he lays a foundation, and Mexico would be hands off. But I don't see it. Especially, could you imagine a press conference him with Faitelson or like John Sutcliffe like throwing answers, or like some random like Mexico City journalist? It would be the most awkward exchange, right? It wouldn't work.
And
But
yeah.
a couple things, just wanted to chime in. Great podcast episode. You guys combined KFC and the midget Calavisión wrestling uh, combo. That's fucking great. It's making my drive a little bit easier here. Which I must say, I think KFC is probably the best of the fast food fried chickens. I know people talk of Popeyes and Churches. I don't know what you guys think, but that is the best. One thing I wanted to leave here, not to stir the pot. I think there was a video in the group chat. I'm not sure who linked it regarding some YouTuber, maybe an influencer, soccer, one of those folks talking about how Mexico, for the size of its country and obsession, quote unquote, with soccer, is quote unquote terrible at soccer. Don't know if you guys have that video, if it was like, or if it was just some random like clickbait video, or what your thoughts are on that. But yeah, man, great episode, making me hungry. Might have to go pull up some old Galavisión wrestling tapes. Some nostalgia there.
I think Popeyes has the best chicken sandwich, but I prefer the fried chicken at KFC.
That's right, original recipe, right?
As Yeah, and I think Habibi is the one that posted that video. Like, oh, I can't believe I've never seen a country as passionate about soccer that sucks so bad at it. And like, dude, it's a hard truth, but I admit it, man. Like, it's pretty pathetic that we haven't been able to
What
haven't been able to like I understand how hard it is to win a World Cup, right? But at least like get into the top 8 or
for
into
Jaime,
or
this thing's
like
so bad.
why can't we pull off like a Morocco, a Turkey, why can't we do that? Like we should be able to do that once in a while.
Sometimes that's just luck, you know. The ball just bounces the right way for you. But look, I could accept they should be better than they are. Then they are so bad. 'Cause come on, dude, so bad, there wouldn't be any results. So he dude did exaggerate. He was clearly trolling, just going for the clicks. Because
No, no, but look,
Argentines have done that even from the TV show. They've done it in the past where they'll talk shit because they know that like the Mexi audience are gonna be all over it, and they're getting the ratings. That to me, that's what it was.
no, but
But
even
come on,
like
so
these
bad.
results you're talking about, even these good results you're talking about, eventually they become mediocre. So, for example, like,
Oh,
no, no, for you, like you say, if we
a,
were that terrible, would we
a
make
gold
the round
medal.
of six?
A gold medal is mediocre.
Would we make the round of 16 so many times, so many consecutive World Cups? But tying into Jaime's point, it kind of gets to the moment where you're like, guys, we've made the round of 16 for the last what 8, 9, 10 times, and we can't make it past that once. Well, like Morocco, Turkey, like all Greece, all these
Croatia.
countries are doing. Croatia, like We can't like just once move like
But
one step
but
forward.
look at the
So that's
upside
the
of
point.
that.
That's the point the guy was trying to make is like you guys are
Eh,
obsessed with
no,
the
he said
game.
so bad.
Your
That wasn't his. He said
population's
so bad.
obsessed with it. Even I can't. My apologies. I can't remember his name. The guy who was on the podcast last week. It's not even like winning the World Cup. It's like he mentioned, even like producing middle level players. We're not talking about producing the next Hugo Sanchez, Rafa Marquez. We're just talking about like producing middle level players that could hang.
Like a Guardado, right?
Yeah, like a Guardado, like like that can go to Europe and be with Betis, whatever, like just middle of the table teams, and just be there consistently. We can't even produce like, and as much as you guys, oh, why they have to go to Europe? We're gonna say Mexico because that's where the elite game is played. We can't even produce like 11 guys to consistently see minutes season in, season out with middle of the table teams. So
Yeah,
yes,
but that's
I
not
do.
so bad.
That guy, like that guy said, he didn't, and he never said they sucked that bad. That's just us adding it in. But he said
No,
that
he said it.
he
He
said son
said so
malos.
bad.
That's true. He said son
Bien.
malos
So it's not. Come on. You could say
for
they
the
could be
amount of
better,
money.
but not
Las
bad.
palabras fueron tan malos.
Tan
Yes,
malos.
exactly.
For
Which
the
is an
amount of money
exaggeration,
that
though.
gets
It's an
for the amount of
exaggeration.
money that the Federacion puts into it, that Mexico consumes, the amount of soccer Mexico consumes for having a strong league. 'Cause let's be honest, Brazilian, Argentinian, and Mexican league are like the top three leagues of North and South America. For having a top league and everything else that comes with it, for being the kings of CONCACAF, for not having like some significant what's the word consistency, for not having consistency as far as and like surpassing that consistency is very disappointing.
Well, they do have consistency, but they haven't been
Yeah,
able
where
to
it becomes
surpass
mediocre.
it.
You have consistency where it
That's
becomes
not mediocre,
mediocre.
dude. It's hard. It's hard to
Us
stay there.
aspiring to reach the fifth game is mediocre. Knowing like if when you first start out, when Mexico would finish
But see,
last in the World Cup, and then you start making it out your group. Oh, that's great.
but dude,
But then
you're
when you get
talking about a
stuck there and
tournament that's every 4 years.
can't get past that,
That's what makes it even more difficult. It's every 4 years, so it's
other
hard. It's not
countries
like
are
it's
doing it,
being
Joel.
played every year.
Other countries
Yeah,
are
but
doing
some country will do it and then disappear, like Costa Rica, and a lot of these countries they'll do it once and then that's it. You don't hear about them. They'll miss 3 World Cups in a
it.
row.
Okay, so going with your point,
That's 12
so
years, dude. That's like a whole
Costa
lifetime.
Rica, they
You don't
were
you don't even
close.
make it to the World
Going
Cup
to
for
your
12
point,
years.
going to your point, Costa Rica, they were
Peru
close.
missed it for 30 years.
They were close
30
to
years,
making
dude.
the semifinal World Cup, but they didn't. And then, according to
Yeah,
you, they disappeared. That was 2014
yeah,
World
World
Cup.
Cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since that 2014 World Cup, what has Mexico done outside of winning the Gold Cup better than Costa Rica?
Oh,
Nothing.
you're
They're
you're
literally
you're
the
not
same.
saying Costa Rica is I know
Would
you're
you
not
rather
saying.
Mexico had Costa Rica success after 2014 then?
What I'm saying is that
No,
we
I know what you're saying, but I'm
no,
asking
I'm
you,
saying
would
that
you
if
prefer?
Mexico made a semi-final of a World Cup and then they fall off for the following cycle or whatever, that's fine. It's normal. But they're content in the mediocre of their comfort zone, which is
Well, I
making
don't
it
think
out of
they're
the group.
content. Again, you,
Making
cause
it
see,
out of the
I think
making it out of the group is Mexico's comfort level.
It
no,
is, porque
I don't.
¿cuánto es el
I know
mame
they
de
won't,
llegar al
but
quinto
Hey,
partido, verdad?
Costa Rica got
well, because
lucky,
they just
man.
needed
Costa
something to
Rica
feed
got
the
lucky.
Habibis, to give them something to look forward to. But it's every 4 years, dude. It makes it difficult, man. It's extremely
Mira,
difficult.
mira,
And
now look.
wait, let me just finish real quick, Habibi. And then football's gotten way more difficult, way more because it's a very globalized
Other
game.
nations are doing it,
You
Joel.
just need
Morocco did
athletes
it.
now.
Morocco
It's a
just
lot
did
of
it, dude.
athletes.
Morocco did it. Croatia
Okay,
did
but
it.
let's see what they do in the next 20 years. Let's see
It
how they
doesn't
do in the
matter,
next
bro.
It
20
Everyone's
years.
doesn't
everyone's
matter
It
gonna
what
be
does
they
talking.
do
matter.
because most likely
It
what's
does
gonna happen,
matter.
Mexico's
Everybody's
still
gonna
gonna be
be
trying to
talking
make the
about that
fifth game.
Morocco.
No, people are gonna forget, just like people forgot about South Korea and people
Dude,
forgetting
people don't
about other
forget
teams that
about
How
have.
do they
people.
forget it? You just
Yes,
brought
they
it up.
do, man.
People do not
People don't
forget
forget.
about
You
these.
literally
But
just
I'm
brought it
not.
up.
It's my job to know that shit, right? That's why.
No, I'm just
I'm
saying,
saying the
like,
average. I'm talking about the average fan,
I
dude.
know,
The
but like,
average
Greece
fan
don't forget.
is not
you
gonna give a fuck.
you see like Korea, you see Turkey, you see like Croatia, back in '98, like you see these
There's
countries that
big
like
Senegal in '02.
that's what I'm saying. Like why can't Mexico do that? That's my argument. It's
Well,
like
sometimes it's just luck. The ball
They're
just bounces
it's
in your
not
comfortable
luck,
favor.
making it
dude.
out the group.
Mira,
It
güey.
is. It
Comfortable
is.
making
It's
it out
these
the group.
small tournaments because it's not like you say Mexico has gone and they get outplayed. Most of these matches have been very like when they lose to Bulgaria and they lost on penalties. Some of these games have been pretty close.
I don't know, man.
Um,
There's no need to
No, but
Look at the
apologize
game
for.
against Germany. Look at the game against Germany in '86,
you're
right?
missing the
It
bigger
was a clear
picture.
penalty, not
No,
calling
you're
Abuelo
missing the
Cruz.
bigger picture.
Then
You're
the game ends
focusing
up
on
going
the
into
game.
penalties.
No, the bigger picture is that you haven't been able to build on anything.
Nope.
For as
Well,
In
much as
fact,
okay,
we've
Mexico
gone
because
is
it's
obsessed
we've
players.
with
gone
Look,
winning,
backwards. We've
it
gone
hasn't
but
been
no,
backwards.
capability. But wait,
your
you
question
think
is it
Croatia,
has to do
Morocco,
players.
you think Croatia, Morocco, and keep in mind, Croatia almost made like back to back World Cup finals. Like, you seriously you think that Croatia, Morocco, and those countries have a stronger domestic league than Liga MX? No. You think they have a stronger national team as a brand than Mexico? No. You think they have a bigger population than Mexico? No.
Well, Croatia's different. It's
Mexico
hard
has
to
all the
compare.
right things.
It's
Mexico has all the right things. And
We
for
but
have
all the
all
right
the right things, but
it's
we're
you
doing
really
them in the wrong
some
way.
of
That's
these
the
some
problem.
of these
that's what the
comparisons.
guy was
It's
saying, and that's where I agree with
no
him.
he
Ese es el pedo.
no
Mira,
he
espérate,
wasn't
güey.
saying that.
Espérate,
You're
mira,
just
mira.
attaching to
Mira,
that.
te dejé terminar, ahora déjame lo
Yeah, no
digo.
me dejaron terminar. I got interrupted before I could even
Pues
finish.
de qué pedo, güey, estás
I'm a
diciendo.
well, so,
Sí, güey,
well,
que a
first
todos
here
les
goes.
sale un
Okay,
pedo
look.
mojado, ¿verdad? A todos les sale
No,
un pedo mojado y de vez en
here's the
cuando
last. No,
you ball out.
here's the last point. Here's the last point. My last point. It comes down to players because he was talking about like Brazil, Argentina. But the amount of players they have playing, it's insane. Just like on the Argentina league alone, there's like 300.
We're not talking about them.
That's
We're
more
talking
than
about Morocco and fucking all
no,
these.
no.
It
But
is.
I'm making a point because you guys talking about what can makes produce players or send players to Europe or have players. That's a big reason because if you see like for every one Argentine that's like in a starter in a top Euro team, there's like over 200 that suck balls and now they're playing in some you know, third rate league somewhere, some Islas Caicos or whatever. And same with Brazil. But see, across the board, if you see all their leagues, the amount of players they have, it's insane. Mex just doesn't have that. There's very little players in first division, and then when you go down the smaller divisions where aren't even that competitive, and so that's been a big problem. So like when you see like Brazil, they just dude, the amount of local talent they have playing day in day out is insane.
We're not talking about those countries though.
Mira, mira, fácil.
No,
Okay.
I know we're not, but I'm saying it because I'm saying Mex just doesn't have that many teams or that many players playing. And when I say, you know what, if you could play in MLS, take it because that
Are
means
you
more spots.
saying
And you
Mexico
guys
lacks the
complain.
soccer resources to be a better team?
No, they lack more
Yes.
teams playing. More teams playing. Like when,
Yeah, so
so
they
like
lack more
look
teams than
really quick.
soccer
No, they don't
resources.
lack. It's not that they lack it. It's that they impose those rules. Like when you say you could have 11
Okay,
foreigners.
but as a
So
result of
like
those rules, are you saying that Mexico lacks the resources of more soccer
no,
teams
not like
playing?
the resources. They
Okay,
they
don't
don't
call
give
it
the
resource.
opportunities to
Mexico lacks
they
more
take
teams
away
playing, is what you're saying, right?
Ok.
more
Mira,
players
chavos.
playing.
Mira,
Like
More
se las voy
players
a,
you think
playing. That's what
mira,
you
Croatia,
se
mean.
las voy a
Morocco
hacer
don't go
simple.
through that?
Se las voy
Right?
a hacer más simple a todos, ¿verdad? Look, here's what's happening y como dijo el chavo. How is it that for the countries that son tan malos? Simple. Primero, tenemos muchos extranjeros en nuestra liga, ¿verdad? No estamos creciendo el deporte internamente. Segundo, cerramos la liga, entonces la competencia interna ya no existe. Tercero, dejamos de jugar contra equipos más poderosos que nosotros en Comebol. Y la otra es que tenemos un mercado interno muy fuerte y
Mhm.
no vendemos al extranjero. Vendemos entre nosotros
Yep.
y compramos de Sudamérica. Esos son los tres problemas y eso es lo que está pasando en México, ¿verdad? Porque antes cuando era una liga de ascenso y descenso, los jóvenes se formaban en descenso y había un poquito más de competencia porque chance era que subías, ¿verdad? O que te veía alguien y y ahí te ibas. Ahí estaba esa competencia interna, teníamos las copas, teníamos todo eso. Luego teníamos menos extranjeros, entonces pues chingaste, tienes que hacer más. Luego, la otra cosa es lo que hablamos hace rato, la mentalidad mexicana de Alexis Vega, que dijo, ¿por qué chingados me voy a romper el lomo por 6 meses por un trabajo a lo mejor cuando le das esa oportunidad a un argentino o un brasileño y como si nada recogen todo y se van? Hasta dejan al hijo y la esposa, se chingó, ¿verdad? Esa es la diferencia.
So
Eso
what
es lo
you're
que
saying is
México no
Cruz
está haciendo
Azul's
bien.
fault.
Wait. I just want to add something to that.
Wait, my man just dropped
Familias,
knowledge, and your best
the,
response is Cruz Azul's
the,
fault? Come on now.
Oh,
the
this is
average,
the same guy that said that MLS is that Mexico should prioritize MLS instead of the South American tournaments he just mentioned.
No, no, dije,
So I
no,
don't know
ya
what you're
nos
talking about.
chingamos. No, no, dije, nos
they,
chingamos y tenemos que hacer lo mejor de lo que tenemos.
look,
But but,
but
but
see,
you
look, when you said that the contract that Alexis was offered, that the Brazilian would take it, because but not every Brazilian, just because they have so many players, that the ones that are making ass, of course they're gonna take it because they have a lot of them that leave for peanuts, and they have a lot that leave for a lot of money. But see, they have that. They got like that amount of players playing. Same like Uruguay, their league is ass, but it's filled with Uruguayos.
No, because
So
the difference is
event,
the mentality. They see it as a stepping stone
Mm-hmm.
versus Alexis.
well, yeah,
Alexis sees it as
but like
taking
I'm
a
saying,
step
like if
back.
no, but see, you got Brazilians in Brazil that are making good money. They're not gonna leave for a shitty contract.
And the other difference is
We just don't hear about it. But
the people who are
they don't
true.
just leave.
Pero la otra cosa, güey, es los que quieren en realidad triunfar are the ones who are willing to take a step back to move forward.
No,
¿Verdad?
of
So,
course,
ok,
but
está bueno, me voy para allá, es un contrato más chico o es un temp to space, pero sabes que la rompo y ahí estoy, pero no, ¿verdad? Son las comodidades de poder estar en casa.
And
Y lo
also
entiendo, pues no hay pedo, pero
with that contrato más chico, man, that's also rich people problems because contrato más chico is just, now all of a sudden you have to drop down to 60,000 a month, 80,000 a month. Let's not pretend like these guys, they're being asked to take a $5,000 a month contract.
exactly, pero
I don't know about 60 or 80, man. Some of these guys I don't think make that to that extent. That's a lot, especially in
My
South
guy,
America.
if Chicharito was getting paid like
No, you're saying
250 a
Chicharito,
week,
man, in
if
Mexico.
Chicharito was getting
No,
paid
man.
250 a week at United, you don't think that Alexis from Wolves would get at least 50 a month?
Yeah, he'd be
No, I'm
me.
talking about what they're getting in South America. But like if Alexis would like what's his
I'm
name,
just saying it's
JJ,
not the sacrifice
he
that
didn't get
people
paid
make it
shit.
out to be. They're still
No,
going
but
to
you're not
collect
getting.
50, 60,000 a month easily.
Yeah, I don't
so
know
so what
about
you
that,
guys are
man.
saying is
I
if
don't know
every
about that, bro.
Mexico
I think
player
it's way less.
so what you
No
guys are
way.
saying is that every Mexican player took a pay cut and they went over there, they'd be elite for some reason. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not
He's
saying
saying
they'd
they'll
be
still
elite.
have
I'm
a
you know
lot
saying
of
what?
money.
the
But I think
sacrifice that
he's
people talk about
You know what? Here's what I'll
for
say.
Alexis Vega
Look,
is not that big of a sacrifice.
Here's what I'll
because
say. You'll get a different
for
level of
you, man.
experience.
Because look, you shared that picture of Endrick. You think Madrid offered $10,000 for that guy, or 100,000? What was the going rate for like a bottom of the barrel Mexican player? Like what Vega got offered? Like they offered the money for him because they know he's good. No one's no one's trying to take these Mexican guys because they know they're not good. That's the point. That's why
No,
Mexico's not elite.
but I'm not
Let,
disagreeing with you. If
let,
anything, that ties into the argument of the original conversation. For as much emphasis that Mexico puts into soccer, how come you can't even have your brand be respected worldwide as
See
far as
that
like
that's the
trusting your
problem.
players? So
This is
son
what I wanted
tan
to mention.
malos. ¿Por qué son tan malos?
This is what I wanted to mention. You guys are always comparing the success stories, which are less than a hand for you in Mexico.
Yes.
Chicharito, part. I'm not even gonna. I know you guys love the guy, but I wouldn't even say he's. I wouldn't even compare him to Hugo or Marquez. Like after after
he's
the
number 3 after those two.
Bruh, he
he's
played
three.
Madrid,
He's
United. He played a
three, but
UCL
those two
final.
guys are a step
Oh
above
no,
him.
yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm trying to say. But you guys are comparing the success stories, but like Joel said, the rest of these guys, they're just not that. It's stop comparing these other guys and expecting them to be that when they go over there. That's why it
No,
never works out.
it's tying to the point of the original conversation. Like you said it, these guys are not that good. And the original
Let's
conversation was,
let's talk
why are
about
these guys not that good? Joel disagrees. Joel says that Mexican players are better than what people are saying. I disagree
Yes.
because the results don't speak for itself. What's the best? What's our ceiling? The sixth game, making semifinals.
Well, because now you're using the World Cup to as a bar. It's
What
a
else
mixed
is there
bag,
to
so it's
use?
hard.
What,
It's
win 5 consecutive Gold Cups? I
no,
mean,
but the World Cup is every
I
four
mean,
years, and
we're
it's so
not.
many
I mean,
variables
we're
there
inviting
too.
Copa America this one because we're in the U.S. But I mean, that's what you. That's the golden standard, the World Cup. What else are we
Yes,
supposed to
but
do?
even
Win 10 U17 World Cups?
yes, but
Mira,
they've
I
gotten a
mean,
long
like,
way.
how
When
else
Mex
do you?
used to go to the World Cup and get their asses handed to them, to they could go to a World Cup and
The
they could
World
beat
Cup's the
Germany.
biggest stage
They
of
could
them
hold
all.
Italy to a draw. They,
It's, it's like a bodybuilder. It's like if he goes to Mr. Olympia, that's the biggest stage. That's where you're gonna see if he's made progress. Not because he won his local high school competition. The World Cup is the Mr. Olympia, is the pinnacle of soccer. So
yes, but
if you can't make any progression through the last 20, 30, 40 years, while other teams with less soccer resources, we're not talking about real world resources, soccer resources are getting better results than you, then obviously, like Abdiya said, you're not using them properly. You're doing
but there's
something
been
wrong.
progression. It's just not the
Well,
progression you
hey,
want.
can you guys name me the team that's been? I'm not saying I agree with Joel or agreeing with you guys, but can you guys name me a team that's been as consistent as Mexico? Can
You're
call
gonna
it
have to
consistently mediocre or whatever you want,
all the
except the big ones.
what's it? Yeah, you don't really see it.
No, the only consistent one, and it is the big one, is Brazil.
Oh,
Brazil's Mexico.
you had to go. That's my point. You had to go to the
Yes,
extreme example. And Mexico's problem what that guy did is very unfair because he's trying to compare Argentina. He's saying Mexico isn't shit because he's comparing it to Argentina, and Mexico fans do that too. Mexico
yeah,
needs to
they
try to
compare it to
emulate.
the bigger teams.
Mexico needs to stop trying to be those teams. If
No, I'm
anything,
not comparing those teams.
no,
You asked the
you're
question.
comparing the
You
results.
no, you asked what team has shown that consistency.
Uh huh.
The only in the last whatever 8, 9 World Cups, besides this last one, the teams that made it the most out of their group were Mexico and Brazil. That was a fact. That's a straight
In
up fact.
Germany, up
Straight up.
until they fell.
And
That's the.
Where's Costa Rica been?
But okay, it goes to this point. Okay, Costa Rica fell off. Look at Spain. Spain won the World Cup in 2010, and then the three following World Cups they have been ass cheeks. Would in the ideal world you want to win the World Cup and show out every other edition and like be a top dog? Yes. But if you were to ask people in Spain, will you trade winning that World Cup in 2010 for being more consistent in the last 4 years? They would tell you hell no.
All
Same
right.
thing with Mexico.
So what would be an
2014,
acceptable result for you
2014,
then?
2014.
What would be an
Where
acceptable?
If
are you going with this
Mexico beat
point,
Holland
Habibi?
and then
You're
they
just
face
saying
Costa
you're happy
Rica
with
and they
one World
sneak
Cup
into a
and then Mexico
semifinal,
back to
and then
being
you
ass.
tell me the next year you get knocked out in the group stage, okay, so at
So
least
mira,
what
you
would
show.
be an acceptable, realistic result for
What?
Mexico then?
Wait, first
mira,
Spain.
espérate,
Spain's a
carnal,
bad
espérate.
example because historically Spain has not been one of the top teams. If
They
you
won a
Miren,
look
World
chavos,
at the
Cup
mire.
World Cup
already. They
results,
won a Euro.
historically they're not. They haven't been. They just lucked out because they had a really good generation with all those players from Barca and Real Madrid,
Hey, but
and
they got a chip.
they did. But I mean, it's rare to
Now
get
you're
those
knocking
type
that
of.
they got a chip, but they weren't consistent. They got a chip. That's all that matters.
So
So, for
so
example, what is I'm looking at like the last, I don't know, decade or so, winners and runners up. of the World Cup. One team that stands out to me, maybe they haven't won every single fucking time, but France. France has been a runner-up or a champion in the last, I don't know, let's see.
Since '98, because they
So yeah,
missed
'98.
'94,
Now
and
France
in
is in
'98 they win.
What are they doing? Correct.
cheat
Is their
cheat code.
league light years ahead of like the Mexican league?
Stealing African talent.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what
using
it.
Mira,
black
We
talent. They're
gotta
using
go.
mira,
cheat codes.
¿sabes qué, güey?
Go.
¿Sabes qué?
Let's
Mira,
send
todo lo
that
que voy
for
a
a map
decir,
Isn't
to
that
stop the
the whole
Congo.
racial integration theory that I have?
mira,
Unless the
todo lo que voy a
No,
decir,
they
güey,
done a lot,
es
though, man.
chinga tu
I
madre
know.
por venir al fin del show a patear al Hornets Nest. ¿Ok? Chinga tu madre. A la próxima ven al
Sí,
principio.
it
ya me
was
iba a
it
dormir.
was it
Porque
was a
Este
no
güey
tactical
vino
mames,
aquí.
güey,
it
¿eh?
was a tactful move. You're right.
Yeah, dude,
Que
that
ya
was
todos los calentamos. Pero otra vez, para entrar a closing thoughts, mira, el pollo, sí, güey, está mejor el de KFC que me das el extra crispy. Pero el Cajun Sparkle de Popeyes está a toda madre, ¿verdad? So, ahí cada quien. ¿Verdad? Y Racing Canes, pues ahí, quién sabe. Pero lo que yo digo es, ¿sabes qué, güey? Con que pierda la América me vale verga. Y estoy seguro que León
Always
va a ser
thinking
lo que
about daddy.
necesitamos,
Daddy's
¿verdad?
on the mind.
No,
Always
güey.
thinking about the biggest team in the world.
¿Sabes qué?
Makes
Es lo más
it's okay, man. Let out your
pensando de los más
frustrations
insolentes y a quién me gustaría
be,
ver que le metan un putazo en la boca.
because
Es
it
el
won't be
América,
your
güey.
team. Because it won't be your team. You're at home, buddy.
Es el
Solo que
América.
Ricardo
Pero
You're
no
at
quiere
hay
home,
pedo.
my
buddy.
team.
¿Verdad? Ya sé que te duele, pero mira, más que nada, lo más importante que tengo que
Duele
decir,
de
y
what do you
otra vez, estoy aquí para darle cultura a la gente, para que puedan aprender y ser mejores. Si descargan la aplicación de Pluto, hay una estación ahí de la AAA, puro pinche old school, Galavisión Wrestling, todo el día, toda la noche. Go ahead, guys. Like, I literally have it on for background noise porque pues las pendejadas que están diciendo, pues
Is,
mejor miro
is,
esto.
is Magadanes narrating?
Oh man, Diaz, thank you for joining us tonight. We were supposed to have closing thoughts like I don't know, like an hour ago, almost feels like now. But who wants to go next?
I'll go, man. Hopefully you guys had an excellent Thanksgiving. I don't know if you guys celebrate that because I know some of you guys. I don't know if all of you guys are woke or like ravioli. You're like in the LGBTQ apologists and all that stuff. I don't know. You guys can do it whatever floats your boat or makes you happy. But regarding that conversation you guys were having, not the fried chicken because I don't really eat fast food like that. Except, but there is like down here in Houston, there's like a black lady that has something, Mama's Cafe or some shit like that, and she sells fried chicken. She's like a little business, and that's some pretty good stuff if you're down here in Houston. But Mexico, I'll keep saying this, man. If any, Chile was brought up a bunch of times today, and if anything, I think that's what Mexico should try to emulate. Because those guys, they don't have they're kind of similar to Mexico in ways, skin tone, height. But what those guys have that Mexico doesn't is talent. I don't know where I don't. Maybe it's the Conmebol connection that they have right. They're right there, so they get a duke it out with those guys and they get experience. That maybe that's what it is. Because what would you guys say if you saw like Alexis Sanchez and Alexis Vega, regard besides knowing that that guy's clearly the biggest fraud ever and the biggest drunk ever, and you guys hyped him up. If you guys just seen him walking down the street, and both those guys, and someone walked up to you and told you, "Hey, both of those guys are soccer players," what would you think? They're probably the same race, right? Or they're from the same place.
You're losing me, way. I don't. That's a lot of players that you saw them.
He's
You
asking
wouldn't
you if you
guess they
think
were.
they both look like beaners.
Yeah, pretty much. What Ravioli just said. Like they're brown, just like Mexicans. So what would be the difference, man? I know they got a whole bunch of good stuff they got going on over there, but In that point, I do agree with Ravioli. I mean, Mexico, I don't know what's going on, man. Like
Like your players, there's very little players. Look, that's the thing I'm trying to tell you guys. Those leagues are filled with local talent. With the white league, that some of the stadiums are shit. They're made out of wood. But you're gonna see in the field 11 Uruguayos versus 11 Uruguayos,
oh,
day in, day
and
out,
also the
year in, day out. So that helps in development. Mex could have beat their youth team right at the under 15, at the under 17, but the Uruguayo kids return to Uruguay and go straight to the first team, and in 2 3 years they're way better than the Mexican players that outplayed them, and they're riding pine for 3 years. That's kind of what's going on. Where and it's the whole league that shot itself in the foot. Well, shot the national team in the foot by saying we're bringing in all these foreigners now. I was trying to make the point with Argentina where it's like a team can have 5 foreigners, but only three are allowed to play. Only three can play in the field. So even those foreigners are forced to even be better than each other because they're pretty much competing with each other at that point. In Mex, you don't have that. And it's part of the corruption because it's the how they launder money. So they have all these players, and you could be asked, and it doesn't matter. They're gonna sell you to some team somewhere for triple the price, and that's what you needed. That's what the club needed, and now they have money to for whatever they wanted it for. But not having those players makes how many in the first division? Like there's like I think last time I checked there was like 120 pro players. Argentina I think it was like at 300. Dude, it's come on, man. It's right there. It's the numbers. Because to my thinking, we could have more Chicharitos, more Pavel Pardos, more players of that caliber. Mex can produce more of those type of players, but they're just not. And to me, part of it is they're just not there to go around. And with the increase in foreigners, and I've used this story a lot with Ramon Moncho Morales. Chivas brought him from Monterrey. He ends up becoming a really good player. And when you see Chivas now, they go seasons without getting players because they can't. There's not that many players, and the few there are being sold for like 4 times the price. But to me, there should be more players like Moncho and players like that. Um, like what was his name, Hermoso, that maybe took him longer. Kikin was another one, right? That they find them in second division, and they but once they go up to all those foreigners, a lot of those players just disappeared. Even players that could have been good.
In Mexico, we have a lot of late bloomers because it took them so long to get their debut, and it took them a couple of teams to finally get some opportunities to play. So it's like
Yeah,
all we need to do is just move that to the like instead of having this debacle of having their stride at 27. We should just start throwing them into the lions at 16, 17, man. Like we should just do that.
But
yeah, but you
the
know what?
foreigners,
I'm
they
gonna
also
say
get
that
rid of.
it's not as terrible as Joel is making it sound. Because look, this is from
It
Transfer
is.
Market. Look, my guy, this is from Transfer Market. Uruguay,
Do using transfer market
Uruguay
is
has
like those
16
gringos in
teams,
some
16
basement.
teams, 460 professionals, and only 62 are foreigners. So 13.5% of the total makeup are only foreigners. So that goes with your point right there. But if you look at Liga MX, 451 players, 151 are foreigners, so 33%. You still have the 77% of the rest of the players in Liga MX are Mexican.
Yes, but the starters are all the foreigners.
But you have 77% are Mexican. So it's not like it sounds like, only
I
like
don't know if I
20,
want to go off a
30% that
transfer
look like
market.
Liga MX.
I'll go with medio cierto before
What
I
is
trust transfer market.
what is it for the
But
EPL? Just curious.
Give me a sec. I gotta search it.
just really quick, from when Mex had their limit, their like five foreigner limit, you could go back and you could just check who were like the top goal scorers, and you will see a bunch of Mexicans competing for the title compared to more recent years where there's like
Oh yeah,
one
see,
guy that.
Premier League, that's where it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
554 players overall, 380 are foreigners, so
Doom.
68%. 68% of the players are foreign.
And you could argue that England's had their best strides in European football, in it's international football in these
Yeah,
last.
to go against Joel, it's like he said that in Liga MX, well, they're not playing, the foreigners are playing. Hey, and England, the foreigners are playing
Yeah,
too, but the English
but
ones that are
England
playing
second,
are
third,
really good.
yeah, yeah, but the English second, third, and fourth division are way better than what Mexico has. So then that's even more players that they have
Yeah,
there.
but none of those players play for the. I mean, only Phillips, I think, was like the only player in recent times that was playing in the championship and getting called up for the English national team. Like it just doesn't happen.
No, but I mean for youth, like if you're a youth player, you could be playing in those divisions and then eventually make it to a first, be sold to a
I'm
first
just
division
saying it's
team.
not as bad as you're making it out to be. 77% of Liga MX players are not foreigners, so they're definitely getting opportunities as far as slot wise, as far as
No,
roster wise.
I had taken from a mix source.
but those
I think
those
those
numbers,
are transfer.
they don't specify which position. And I think Mexico in these last years has been, if anything, the position they've produced the most is probably midfield. You guys agree, right? Midfield,
Yeah,
maybe center back at a very low quality.
we got
But
a lot
those
of
foreigners,
midfielders.
yeah, a lot of those foreigners are taking up the goalkeeper position, striker position, and would you guys agree like the fullbacks maybe? And that's where exactly where Mexico is struggling the most at producing.
Definitely
I think
strikers and goalies for sure.
Mexico's struggling with everything, but Joel, I just want to bring up one more thing. You said you don't trust transfer market, but at the same time, you love and idolize Ricardo Pelas, who try to do his signings through transfer market. So,
He never
which one
mentioned
is it,
transfer
my guy?
market. He didn't mention transfer market. People just that was the media that said he was going off of
I mean, it
transfer
was pretty
Well,
market.
obvious he
he said
was.
he
No,
went off a
he said it
popular
in.
website that gives you player value.
No,
Obviously, it's
I
transfer
don't think
market.
it was.
He checked his sources. His sources being fucking transfer market, because the quote that because it was when they were trying to buy Brandon Vasquez, right? And they're sources say 500K, and they asked for 5 million. I'm like, dude, he wasn't worth 500K. Only transfer market
He
had
was
had
asked
him.
about this later. I don't. I'm not gonna defend him. He talks about this because they asked him about this. I don't really remember, but
Mm.
I know he said they had like three, but just he never said transfer market. I
He
know that
went
was
to a
just the
popular
media.
source that gave him a 500,000 value. Clearly, it was transfer market.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Abel, Abel, my final thought, man. I got to throw in America here, man.
Wait, I'm sorry, I
Hey,
gotta go.
uh,
But Chavos, I gotta go. Sorry guys.
all right,
all right.
man.
All right.
The recent news, uh, they were talking about Chiquito Sanchez and Omar. They pretty much assured Omar Campos. I don't really rate him like that. Is going to America. Well, what do you guys think about that?
Well, Pachuca wanted what 10 million for Chiquito Sanchez, which basically, you might as well dig his grave because he won't be leaving Liga MX with that kind of evaluation.
But Jaime, you say that, but I don't think he had the type of market in Europe, man. He's a very short guy, and for that position, they're not going to be offering big money for him.
Hey,
I
man,
think
he was
that,
able to score against Germany. I think anything's possible.
yeah, personally, I think that you have to choose a side and stick to it. What do you guys say? Can have your cake and eat it too. So either you want a strong domestic league where it's like the Premier League, where these guys come up through Everton, Aston Villa, and then Manchester United, Arsenal, City come in and buy them, or you export. Like you can't do both. So if we want a strong domestic league and we want to be fans of the league, then we kind of need to, have banter and talk shit about the moves. But at the end of the day, it's the moves you want to happen. You want the bottom teams to produce these good
So
talents and the top teams beef up with them.
would if it
Juice their roster up.
would have it been would you have liked him to go to Toulouse in France?
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, you have to choose a side. You got to choose a side that the league is there to benefit the national team, or you have to choose a side that the league is just there to be the league its own entertainment source. Personally, I'm more on the side of both. Like they leave Pachuca, these small bum ass teams, join a big team, prove their worth, and then if they want to go to Europe, go to Europe.
I see.
So tell me you're crying that he's not going to Chivas without telling me you're
I
crying.
don't.
He's not.
No, I'm not crying. I think it's a good move. I mean, with it's like the Sendejas thing. Like I've said it before, I think the reason Sendejas wasn't that successful at Chivas, maybe it was a little early. He wasn't ready, but most importantly, he didn't have big name foreigners taking pressure off him so he could develop. So I think a team like America for Sanchez or for Ocampo, who's less experienced, is a perfect move for him. You don't have your Quinones, your Hedy Martins, your Cáceres, all these guys taking the pressure off you, so you can show up, take your time, learn the ropes, and then establish yourself, hit the ground running as opposed to those two guys who went to Chivas. Now they're el refuerzo bomba, the ones who's going to change the la cara de Chivas, el que va a ayudar a la 13. All of a sudden, they have the pressure to make the team champs, as opposed when those guys join like Tigres, Monterrey, America, they're like an addition. They supplement the strong team that's already there, as opposed with Chivas, they're the savior. So if I'm thinking of what's the best interest of Mexican talent, definitely go to America or Tigres or Monterrey, where the foreigners can take some pressure off you.
Hey, did you guys mention Chicharito being linked back to Chivas?
Mm, no, we haven't brought it up. Thanks for bringing that up because it's one of those things where it makes the most sense for both parties. They both need each other, and I would not be opposed to that move. I'd rather him go to Chivas than go to another team in MLS or go to Saudi Arabia.
Well, I'm gonna say that one, Ricardo is a spreader of fake news. The guy just loves spreading fake news. He consumes fake news because he called me woke and who knows what else. The reason I oppose the Chicharito move, I think he's just too woke now, man. Like I think he's the kind of guy that will show up, the results don't go the way, and instead of giving you a press conference of, we need to improve in this and that or whatever BS, he's gonna tell you something about, well, most important thing is not winning or losing. The most important thing is that we're humans and that we love each other and we're establishing friendships and relationships that will last a lifetime amongst the soccer community in Guadalajara, but like that, like those are his answers now. Those are his interviews now. Like that's not the guy I want,
Well,
man.
you know what's sad? They're not even interviews, bro. No one's asking him. Literally, no one's asking him. He's just making his own content.
Yeah, bro. It's just like to me, he's too woke. Like I'm not. I don't think we're getting a soccer player. I think we're getting a life coach, and I don't need a life coach, man. I need some guy to score goals.
He will
Or
score
your
goals.
your coach did say he wants you guys to give the players love. So if that's not woke, I don't know what is.
I
Everybody does that.
look, if I had to choose between nothing coming off the bench and Chicharito coming off the bench, of course I want Chicharito. What the fuck? This dude can still score plenty of goals and he needs a team and he's at the point of his career where this is his last chance. So why not?
But no, that's the thing, man. He's so woke that it's not a last chance to him. To him,
That's
it's
that
just
all right.
like
The
whenever he's
whole
feeling
look,
groovy.
he's a streamer now. He has his platforms that he likes to give his own opinions and on. Like that's like you got to separate the art from the artist, right? Like let him do whatever the fuck his circus show. In fact, that would be less pressure on Chivas because all the fans will be fucking distracted with his off the pitch antics. Like I think it would be good for Chivas to have him as kind of like the scapegoat. And
No, I'm just saying, like, I feel the hunger is not there no more.
dude,
Like,
the
I don't think
hunger's
it's a
there.
lot. I don't think it's like a last chance. Like he's like, oh shit, I need to play one more year so I can retire. I think like he would be indifferent if he plays another year or if he hangs up the boots. I think he's moved. You said art. I think he's moved on to a new art. I just don't think that hunger is there. Yeah, can he score? Would I want him coming off the bench? Hell yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. I think like he's past the soccer player era.
He's one of those players that doesn't matter how old he is, he will always know how to position himself for tap ins,
That's
and
how we felt about Borghetti, my guy.
and
And look
that
what
is
happened.
and Borghetti helped. Despite not having a huge role on the team, he was pivotal. I can't even say the word, but he was part of that team that was in Libertadores and was going for everything at the same time. And Borghetti was the guy that said, "Hey, keep your eye out on this dude named Chicharito." Like, so I think that I would like him on the team just because I know he'll score goals, and we need goals, and we don't have anybody else.
Hey Jaime, if he produces, call revoke Ravioli's Chihermano card, okay?
No,
Hey,
that's not
hey,
what I said.
hey,
To
but
me,
real
like,
quick, I know it's getting late. Real quick, because I want you guys' opinion because it was brought up in a show in Picante a couple shows back. Do you guys, as Chia Hermanos, consider him a Chivas legend? And how
Mm,
why would you consider him that
I
if you do?
no, he's not a legend. I would say he's like a hero. In fact, when he left, that was the marketing like poster that they put. It's like leave as a hero, come back as a legend. But
But they mentioned that Jaime. He did what he won. He didn't exactly win the title when he was with you guys.
he didn't win
He was on the
anything.
bench. So what hero? I mean,
okay, so
this is what they
Ricardo,
were
to
arguing.
ask you,
I'm just saying
is
this is what
Cuauhtemoc
they were arguing.
Blanco an America legend?
Who?
A hundred goals. How's that not make you a legend?
So
And winning a
he's
title
America legend, right?
Who
and
is?
and being the main guy in the
Cuauhtemoc
title, yeah.
Blanco,
Oh,
despite only winning one title with
And
America.
he spearheaded that title. He
So, 'cause
scored
of
during
that
that
one
title.
title, he's like
He
the
wasn't
biggest
riding the
legend
bench.
America has ever
Don't
produced.
don't you're gonna lose this argument because Chicharito didn't do any of that.
Chicharito left too early, my guy. He didn't even have a chance to
That's
do
why
that.
I'm asking you.
the
You're
only,
considering.
yeah, Chicharito. The only thing he accomplished with Chivas was he did win a goal title, like top goal scoring title. But as far as like accomplishments at Chivas, like he didn't really have any. He didn't walk away with any silverware.
But I mean, it depends on the definition of each person. I mean, some people call him a club legend because puso en alto el nombre de Chivas, and because of what he achieved in his career, that's a legend. I mean, like look at Jude Bellingham. Birmingham retired his jersey when he was like 17. He was the first player
That's crazy.
they ever retired a jersey for because they knew he was going to be so good. So in their eyes, he's a legend of Birmingham, even though he never achieved anything with them.
So you're gonna give him credit for something he did somewhere else?
But that's what I said. I'm not saying he's a legend, but I'm not discrediting anyone saying he's a club legend because that depends on each person's definition. It's like
I
it's
mean,
for example, it's when
Angel
someone
Reina.
graduates a high school and then they go off and become a billionaire, and then they say so and so's are alum, like so and so graduated from here, and they even like name a field after them or some
Oh,
BS like that.
that's graduation, man. That's
It's the
different.
same thing. He
Nah.
graduated from Chivas, my
Now,
guy. He
but
graduated from the Chivas
but
Academy,
graduation
Chivas
involves a
first team.
diploma. What did he? What was his diploma for?
He graduated from Chivas. He left with a scoring title. He left too soon, and he went on
No,
and became
that's
a
my point.
billionaire
Because
somewhere else.
Angel Reina isn't an America legend, and he won a scoring title with America.
But did he leave America and put the America name in lo
No,
alto?
so you're giving him,
No.
or that this is what they were arguing about. You guys are giving him credit for something he did elsewhere.
I'm not giving him credit. I'm saying if people make that argument, I
No,
understand
you
it
just did
because
that,
it
bro.
depends on the perspective of each person.
No, so is he a legend for you or no?
I would consider, like, in my lifetime, the only legend I've seen is Omar Bravo, and I would probably throw in Ramon Morales.
Omar Bravo over 100 goals and a title, right?
Exactly.
I would make him an idol. I wouldn't say the word legend. I would
Yeah,
say idol.
he's not, Chicharito's not a legend as a result of what he accomplished at Chivas, but Chivas can take pride in the fact that they produced and exported, probably one of the most like, I don't know, like talented players in that generation.
He's definitely a Chivas idol. I wouldn't say legend, but
Yeah.
he's a Chivas idol.
I think if he comes back to Chivas and wins a title and scores a lot of goals, then we can have that conversation.
What do you mean can have that conversation? If that were to happen, automatically becomes a legend.
Yeah, exactly.
Automatically,
And that
no
was the whole
debate.
point. Is like we went into this transfer with that expectation that he left prematurely. We could have used him in that Copa Libertadores final, and that would have been a completely different story. We could have potentially won that game because of him, but we didn't get that chance. And we always thought that in the end that he would come back and make good for Chivas and be like, hey, let's fucking win this thing. So that was my impression when he left. Now it's who knows. Maybe that boat has left. Sure.
I'll be happy if he comes back, but I won't lose sleep if he doesn't.
Yeah. Guys, I gotta wrap this up. It's been 3 hours in. I love y'all for the energy. I did want to say one thing. I did enjoy my Thanksgiving, Ricardo, and up until the point where I went on a little vacation. I went to Lake Tahoe. I'm 10,000 feet in the air, and what do I see? A goddamn America fan, and it wasn't the America fan that I expected. The guy turned around. He was wearing a America backpack, and it was a fucking Asian guy. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on here, man?"
America's everywhere, man. It's
And
everywhere and in anyone.
This
I,
guy's spreading fake news, man.
I,
This the guy who gets all like on the internet and watches videos of like, do you know any teams from Mexico? And then they interview 100 people, but they only show you the recording of the 5 people that say America. So he thinks that because of that random internet video, that they're bigger.
look, man, I was in Tahoe, and I was probably the only Latino there, and that was one of the last things that I expected to see when I'm 10,000 feet in the air, dude. Like, fucking.
No, but you know what? You weren't cultured. There's a lot of Mexicans that look Asians. They even call them chinos as a
No,
nickname.
dude, this dude was
I
straight
think
up
your
Asian.
pocho ass. I think that was just a Mexican that looked Asian.
Nah, bro. Their whole family spoke like something. It was not Spanish. It wasn't English. It was something else. But
Bro, do you not know of the secret Asians called Filipinos?
dude,
They're
Filipinos
like the
don't watch
perfect
soccer.
blend between us.
Nah, they were not Pinoy, dude. I know Pinoys. Nah, dude. It was, anyways. It was just one of those things. I thought it was really funny. And guys, I'm gonna be sleeping real good tonight because I signed up for Secret Santa and my gift came early. We had a wish list and I got what I wanted. It's a queen size Chivas blanket, and I'm literally staring at it. It's waiting for me. I'm gonna be sleeping like a king tonight. And with that, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We're going to watch these next two matches tomorrow and on Thursday. Maybe we'll have a impromptu episode after the games. But if not, we'll catch y'all next week. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. All right. right, YouTube. You guys did great on the comment section. Thank you guys so much. Also, seeing some new faces there with someone and Franklin. Thank you guys for your comments and your energy. Of course, Disco Fever, yeah, with all your comments. Yeah, we'll be back at it next week. Maybe